Eagles. Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to the JAKIB Postgame Show. The Philadelphia Eagles destroy the Dallas Cowboys to win the NFC East 41-7. Your final score. Kenny Pickett's throwing touchdown. Tanner McKee's throwing touchdown. Saquon Barkley goes over 2,000 yards for the year. What a game today, Big Sills. How you doing on this Sunday post-game edition of the show, my friend?
Man, that was one whale of a balanced attack. That's what the offense should have looked like all year long. 120 yards from a receiver. Barkley goes over the 2K. By the way, congratulations on joining that exclusive club.
Yeah, what a feat, man. What a feat. What a season, man. For him.
And you had balance in the Cowboys, who put a JV team out there. Everyone was like, well, the quarterback, Hurts' importance to the team is so magnified, like it was a week ago, was so magnified. Man, I didn't even know he played on the freaking team today. Holy shit. I'll tell you this too, dude. For 17 consecutive weeks, next week is week 18, that defense is the real deal. That is a good group, dude. I mean, I know the Cowboys were limited in what they threw out there, but boy, I'll tell you something. They won that football game today with balance, Zander. They did it with running the ball, throwing the ball, and playing outstanding defense.
Yep.
And that's arguably, again, I get it, the opponent sucks. It's not the Steelers or it's not the Ravens. I get it. Still, you see the balance. That's a good thing heading in. Now you get Jalen Hurts healthy next week. I doubt they play him. But, boy, I just shows you this. Anybody could play the quarterback position in Philly and win.
I'm not going to go quite that far, but I will give you guys the rundown on the stats, and we'll continue to break it all down. I want to welcome and thank everybody for being here on the post-game show today. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to leave your comments in the chat box. We will get to some of those comments as well. I see them already flying in about big sales. Eagles win, though, 41-7. Kenny Pickett was in the game. He was 10 of 15 for 143 and a touchdown. Tanner McKee came into the game. He was 3 for 4 for 54 yards and 2 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley, Sills, 31 carries, 167 yards. Again, he goes over 2,000 on the season, and you brought up the defense. 4 turnovers today, Sills. That is 9 turnovers in 2 weeks of football for the Philadelphia Eagles defense. We are ready to go, baby. This is a playoff team, Big Sills. I really like where this team is with 1 week remaining to go to the playoffs.
Well, let me ask you this. Were you surprised by the balanced attack today? I was.
I
didn't know what to get out of the backups.
I didn't think it was so overly balanced compared to how it was last time we played the Cowboys with Hurts. I think we won that game 34-6, if I'm not mistaken. And it was similar passing numbers and similar running numbers in that. Actually, I think that was the one game Saquon, I think, got bottled up for 60 or 70 yards. I'd have to go back and look, but it did look balanced today, and I thought the backup quarterbacks did a really good job. They made some really nice throws. I think Tanner McKee, you see the potential of him. He's that big 6'6", man. He can throw that ball, and when he's on time, you have A.J. Brown, who makes it look all the better. But look, I thought they did a really good job. I really do. I thought they did I don't say that to slight Jalen Hurts, but I thought that the quarterbacks today, both of them, did an excellent job of throwing the ball, getting the ball to their receivers, and making plays when they needed to.
This has nothing to do with Jalen Hurts today. This is everything to do with what they put on the field here. And did I not say this? 45 attempts. They had 42. And let's not be over like 15 or 16 passing attempts. They had 19. I mean, that was the remedy that they had to beat the Dallas Cowboys. And as long as they didn't turn the football over, which they did once, I believe, they were great. I thought Kenny Pickett was outstanding. And I do think Tanner McKee was great. By the way, that catch that wasn't a touchdown by A.J. Brown, that one-handed.
Oh, my gosh.
Freaking unbelievable Odell Beckham style stuff that you saw in the corner over there. I'll tell you what, man. Tell me I'm wrong here on this. But don't you think Kellen Moore called an outstanding football game here with these 2 backup quarterbacks? Again, get this. He was the scout team quarterback this week. The scout team quarterback looked better than Cooper Rush with the Cowboys today on how good that they were prepared. These 2 quarterbacks were prepared. I mean, they really did a great job, man. Coaching on both sides of the football, they did a great job today.
Yeah, Kenny Flickett will be Kenny Pickett now. Okay, he has earned the Pickett name back. He will no longer be trolled. He's done a good job for the Eagles in the last 2 games.
Dude, I thought McKee was great.
I thought McKee was great. I mean, he only threw the ball 4 times, but he did have 2 great throws for touchdowns. And once he got into a rhythm, I think you could see it a little bit better. And dude, he is just that big statue, old school looking quarterback when he's back there. And the thing I like most about him is I think he's a smart guy. Obviously, you go to Stanford, that's just a lot smarter guy than I am. But I like a smart quarterback. I like a guy that can read the defense like that and decipher plays and stuff. And
there you go. The processing of the plays in front of him, you see him processing the plays in front of him well. Hey, man, again, like I said, I thought after the first couple series, I thought Pickett settled down. Actually, Dallas did a decent job in the first part because they were loading up the box. But then once the passing game opened up, look what it did for Barkley, man. Barkley then started getting on the edges, and Dallas just could not set the edge, man. I got to give those quarterbacks a lot of love, man. I mean, I think they could do that with anybody under center in Philadelphia. I will say outstanding.
I will say this, without the bombastic nature of Big Sills, I am not Big Sills. I will let him be Big Sills because I want Big Sills to be Big Sills. But looking at it from an objective view, it is very clear to me as an Eagles fan that this roster is tremendous. Yep. And you're not entirely wrong when you say, if you get somewhat competent play, it doesn't matter who's back there. It's going to work when you have Saquon Barkley, when you have that offensive line, when you have those weapons. And I think, if anything, I think it's a credit to Howie and the defense, obviously the number 1 overall defense. I think it's a credit to Howie Roseman, man. He's built a juggernaut of a football team. There's not another team in the league, Sills, that can lose their starting quarterback and beat a team 41-7. Yeah. We haven't scored 40 points all year. You know that, right? That's our first 40 burger of the year.
Here's the one thing, again, without being over the top here on this, okay? Here, look.
Sileo, not over the top. I don't believe it.
They're going to win a lot of games, but are you going to win a championship with those 2 guys? Probably not. You know what I mean? Okay,
right.
Are you going to win a championship with those 2 guys right now? I'm not sure that that's the case, okay, because of the lack of experience, but there's no question. And I don't care what anybody says, Zander. Today, the passing game had its best weekend of the year. I mean, and I'll tell you what, even with the adversity.
I don't really agree with that.
Well, I'm going to tell you why, because it's the adversity of the backups. The adversity of the backups and not having your starting quarterback in there, that was an outstanding weekend. You did not have your frontline guys, and you still put up nearly 200 yards in passing. You had another guy go for 120 in receiving when it came to Devontae Smith. By the way, A.J. Brown had a touchdown catch in the end zone. And plus, you had a running back go for 167.
Yeah, and
Pickett was 10 of 15, 143. Also had a rushing touchdown in the football game. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, had a rushing touchdown in the game. So he had 2 TDs himself, and you had McKee go in there. The passing game was 13 and 19 for 197, 3 touchdowns and no turnovers. Well, again, that's kind of above what they've been doing all year long. And you had 180 yards rushing. I mean, dude, that's a great balanced football game that they had, and no question about it. By the way, guess who Vic Fangio's leading tackler was in the football game? Oren freaking Burks was the leading tackler in the game. Jesus criminy, man. What?
And he missed a little bit, too.
The assistant coach of the year award, I don't know what's – that will be a travesty if he doesn't.
Yeah, we're going to get to that defense. As we mentioned, 4 turnovers today. That's 9 turnovers in 2 weeks. I know they didn't have their best game last year in terms of yards and giving up touchdowns, but you turn the ball, you take the ball away 9 times in 2 games, you're legit. You're a turnover machine at that point. CJ Gardner-Johnson, Sills, 2 picks. We're going to get to that defense. I do want to stick on the offense a little bit. Now, here's the question, Sills. And I do want to congratulate the Philadelphia Eagles. They clinched the NFC East today. A great job by the team. And they now clinched at minimum the number 2 seed in the NFL for the playoffs. So we are looking pretty now going into the playoffs. The lowest we will be is the 2 seed. So we're going to get at least 2 games if you win, at least 1 game, at least 1 game at home for the playoffs, which is great stuff for them. What do you do now, Sills? going into week 18. You're on the brink of the Dickerson record. You've already locked up the 2 seed. Do you play everybody next? What do you do? I mean, my gut is rest everybody because I'm focused on the bigger mission of winning the Super Bowl. But as someone pointed out to me on Twitter, and if you're in the chat, I appreciate you. He said, come on, Zander, these players, they care about that stuff. And he's right. They do. I think you should care more about championships, but they do. What do you do next week if you're the Eagles?
I think it's the journey to the championship and part of it. I mean, I think that offensive line will be branded as the all-time leading single-season rushing. How would you not like that as a group in the Philadelphia Eagle history? Think about this, Zander. If you're Jordan Mailata, you're Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson's got a Super Bowl ring already, correct?
Yep.
Okay, and he's got another NFC champ. He's got 2 NFC championship games. How would you like to put this on your tombstone going into Canton? That I also was on the offensive line and had the all-time single-season rushing record on my resume, along with 2 Super Bowls. I mean, I listen. I get the resting. You're 101 away. He's going to get this if you play him. It's against the shitty Giants. The Giants have already surrendered. Real quick, too, also on that. If you're John Mara, the owner of the New York Giants, and you see Barkley with 203, and he's part of that exclusive club, how do you not go to Joe Schoen and go like this? What were you guys thinking? And I get where everybody, I heard you and John say, what were the Giants? My opinion, you're trying to accumulate great players. You're not trying to get rid of great players. You're trying to create great. Maybe Saquon Barkley might have helped Daniel Jones keep his job. You don't know that, man. How about drafting some decent old linemen in New York? All that being said, do you play him back to the original question? If it's me, every single player that I've spoken to, Hugh Douglas, Ike, all them guys, there is no doubt they want to see this. And I get where the media is. Hey, rest your guys going in. Personally, man, Jalen Hurts has already had a week off, maybe a week and a half off now because he really missed that Washington game. Do you really want to have him go 3 weeks off before he sees active football again? It's almost like you're back into preseason again. And that passing game under him has not been that great. And so you're going to go in there again, a little bit cold, probably playing Washington again. So again, I mean, Washington, we'll see how they finish up. They could be a 12-win team this season. So again, I do think it's something to think about. Now, again, I think it's all going to be under this. If Minnesota wins tonight and then Detroit wins also on Monday, then it becomes a point, Zander, do you play these guys a half? Right. Get him the record and then get his ass out of there. And as soon as he gets it, then you sit him. But to me, it's all going to be determined on what happens with Minnesota's game and also Detroit's game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. This is a tough one for me because I see both sides of it, where the fan in me is like, let's get healthy. Let's get ready for the Super Bowl run, right? But as a professional, as a person who has my own goals and my own aspirations in life, and you obviously talking to a former player who played the game at the highest level, you got goals. You have, things you want to accomplish personally and professionally. And I don't brush that aside. I understand if Saquon Barkley and, like you said, Lane Johnson, those type of guys want to go out there and get that record. So I have no issue with
NFL history. By the way,
if
you're Kellen Moore and you want to be a head football coach, wouldn't you like to have this? I had the number 1 offense in Dallas twice, and now I have one of the teams that was the number 1 rushing attack with the all-time single season. Wouldn't you want that on your resume when you're out trying to pursue a head coaching job? He's going to get credit for that as well. I mean, there's a lot of things to think about organizationally too. And I think that'd be a great number you're known for being a physically dominant team. Shouldn't Howie Roseman how about Jeff Stoutland too? Don't you think that would matter to Jeff Stoutland, the run game coordinator, on him having
the storied career he's built here? Yeah, the tremendous career he's built here in Philly, adding on to that. It's hard to disagree with what you're saying. I think there's a lot, and add this to it. You can do it against the New York Football. It's storybook.
It's poetic justice.
It really is. It's poetic. That's the perfect word for it. It's completely poetic. Let's talk a little bit about the quarterbacks. We talked a little bit about the open, but I do want to get into them. Pickett, I thought he played well, and Tanner McKee, I thought he played well. What'd you see from those two guys today, Big Sales? Getting a little deeper on the two quarterbacks and what they were able to do in the offense today.
I think both those guys fit the style of Kellen Moore as play caller way better than Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying to you that those two guys are better than Jalen Hurts. That's not what I'm saying. But what I do think that they're better at than Jalen Hurts is being pocket passers. I think that was evident. These guys have had limited practice all year long, taking reps, and those guys went into that football game. And I get it, guys, and I'm with you on it. The Dallas Cowboys put a JV football team and a practice squad team. We pretty much said this the entire time. But you got to remember, these guys have not seen first-team reps a lot. It's been the majority of it with Jalen Hurts. I thought those guys did a nice job at progression reading. I thought those guys, how many targets did they hit in that ball game too, all those guys, when it came to what they did in the wide receiving core, and plus with Barkley making catches. I mean, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You had 6 guys receiving the football, and there was 13 receptions in the ball game for 197 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, Smitty had 6 catches for 120. AJ had 3 for 36 and a touchdown. Calcaterra made a contribution. I think these guys really did a great job, man, and I think these guys were pretty good in the pocket. I think it was a slow start for Pickett after the first 3 series, but he got into the rhythm. What concerns me about him, 2 weeks in a row, man, that guy gets hit. What is he, a China doll made of porcelain? What are we doing here, man? I mean, this guy got banged up twice in a row. And if Jalen gets knocked up or hit up or something like that in a ball game, in the New York game or in the opening round, you can't have that guy banged up going into that.
It's Tanner time, baby. What are you talking about?
No, I think, hey, I'll tell you what, he had really good footwork in the pocket. And I think, how about this, Zander? I think him being 6'6", I think there's a benefit to seeing over that gigantic goal line versus Jalen Hurts being 6 foot and having to look up over the line. He looks down over the line at being 6'6". I think that helps in the pocket.
Absolutely. I would agree with that 100%. Should be interesting to see how the Eagles close this out. I want to thank Rob Williams for becoming a member. Rob, appreciate you, brother. We will be giving away a Saquon Barkley jersey, everybody. He eclipsed the 125 number, and we got plenty more giveaways to do here on JAKIB Sports. So get your memberships in. Rob, we appreciate you for joining, my man. You are officially entered in to everything. Let's read a couple super chats, Big Sills. I'll read our biggest 2 super chats right now. Jason A-Team says, our birds are great. Pickett was good too. Dude is a warrior. Respect. But Tanner time was the best. I love this team. Bond still is incredible to watch. CJ keeps stealing Q's interceptions. EAGLES Eagles. Good stuff, 18. Appreciate that, my man.
I thought Q got owned a couple times out there.
Yeah, he did. It was just, I thought it was his worst game.
He's been beaten. I wonder the rookie wall. I think you posted that, Zander.
Yeah.
With the rookie wall, you're starting to see a little bit of that because you're starting to see the kid give up some yardage back there.
Yeah, he did. He got beat a couple times today. I think it's fair to say. I mean, he won 15 weeks with no touchdowns given up.
I know.
The last 2 weeks, he gave up a touchdown each
I'm
week.
with you.
So,
I got it.
I mean, he's been good, but has he? Is that rookie wall coming in? I think it's fair to talk about. Christopher Darker checks in. He says it would only be poetry for Saquon to set the record against the Giants next week. They got to let him go for it. That record is a forever statement to his legacy, MVP, and Golden Jacket. Wow, big stuff there. By Darker.
He won't win the MVP award, and he won't be a gold jacket guy, but being a most valuable player and having the single season rushing mark, I'll tell you what it does do. It puts him in a conversation for people to say this, what if? And so you can put him on a doorstep, maybe, depending on how he finishes his career. Because remember something, John McMullen brought a great point up, Zander. Next year, you're going to have a running back with over 340 carries. How is that going to play out with a 30-year-old guy or a 29-year-old running back next year, 28-year-old running back? I mean, he's got a lot of tread on his tires.
Yeah, he does. There's no doubt about it. As far as the gold jacket, too, I think being in New York for 5 years, 6 years, obviously hindered that. But still, listen, let's just say for a second he breaks the Dickerson record. Let's say he gets a Super Bowl at some point in the next couple of years here in Philadelphia. Let's say, another 1,500 yard year. You might start to piece that together where maybe he does get in that room. I'm with you where he's not there yet, but I'm not going to rule it out. He's running like a madman right now, and he looks like he's drinking from the fountain of youth, man. I mean, he looks better now than he did ever in New York, and a lot of that.
He's such a patient runner, and I'm going to give him a comparison.
He really is, yeah.
He reminds me a little bit of Emmett and how he just allows the play to develop. Yeah. He sits there and lets the play develop, and then he's so explosive into the hole. And you know what makes him greater than any back that they have had maybe since Westbrook has been that he's so great in traffic in between the tackles. I mean, this guy's elusive, and he's powerful. That's a frightening combination. Now, look, you watch Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's not going to be moving around too much inside the tackles. He's going to run your ass over. I mean, those are two exceptional. I mean, Barkley has had 340 carries so far this year, by far the most in his career. I think it's by 60 carries this year. And Henry's had 300 carries so far this year. So, I mean, Saquon Barkley has carried the football a ton this year.
Yep.
And again, the question will be this week, depending on what happens in Minnesota, Detroit's games, on what you do this week and how many carries you want to get him, getting him ready for the postseason.
Yep, absolutely. He had 31 carries today, 167 yards.
I thought he'd be around that number.
Unbelievable. You did. You said 30 carries in the pregame show, so credit to you, and 167 yards. So big game for Saquon Barkley. Sells good stuff on the offense. Let's jump over to the defense, man. 4 turnovers today. CJ Gardner-Johnson, 2 picks. It's 9 turnovers in the last 2 weeks. I thought the one thing, if I'm going to nitpick, and there's not much to nitpick, all right, please, I'm nitpicking. I know I'm nitpicking, but I thought the run defense wasn't the same without Nakobe Dean. I thought Nakobe Dean was missed in the run game. You saw Rico Dowdle have a couple big runs. He had 23 carries for 104 yards. I'm nitpicking, I know, but I do think you see the role that Nakobe Dean has, and he's done a really good job of playing downfield, filling the gaps, and he's really good in that run game, and I think he was missed out there today, even though Oren Burks did have a good game.
I'm going to also say this. I think Jordan Davis looked like he was tired.
Yeah.
I thought he played high. I thought he got moved off the ball a couple times. In my opinion, I thought the backups that came in and spelled him played better. I mean, I just, when I look at him play, the Booker guy, I thought played better. I mean, the kid was really great when he was in there. I didn't think Trotter played all that bad, but the defensive tackles, man, I mean, I don't know, man. Carter was like a little bit of a no-show himself here today. You know what I mean? I mean, Xander, both of those guys inside did not look that hot in this ball game. But again, like you said too, man, Dean not being out there, I think was also a factor. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, they did run for 127 yards. I mean, Rico had 103 yards rushing.
Well, yeah. I felt like they ran the ball pretty well. I mean,
that
was the one thing I said I nitpick. But overall, Sills, you gave up 7 points. How about that, Brandon? By the way, how about that Brandon Aubrey 61-yarder? That thing looked like it was good from 70 if it was more accurate.
I know, man.
God.
That guy is some kicker, man. And
that dude's got a leg.
I said that in the pregame show that's one of the advantages that I thought maybe Dallas had going into that game, because that guy's got a gigantic foot in there. But again, I see somebody saying that Carter was great. Carter was a no-show. He put a goose egg up in numbers, and they gave up 100 yards. And they gave up 100 yards rushing. I mean, once again, when you make those comments and people are going like this, well, a guy named Rico Suarez had 100 yards rushing on 23 carries, and you gave up goose eggs. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I think both tackles got pushed off the ball a bit.
Yeah,
and for the record, the Dallas Cowboys were playing second and 13 guys in the middle of the offensive line.
Yeah, well, I think the stats with those two guys don't always tell the full story, but you're not wrong. They didn't have their greatest stat day, but Jalen Carter, I thought was still tough to deal with out there for the Cowboys offensive line.
Again, okay, you and I will agree to disagree, because they ran the ball on them.
No, they did. You're right. They did. They definitely ran the ball today. Sills, you know who's one guy who's sticking out to me on this defense right now as completely arrived? I'm no longer saying he's getting there. I'm saying he has arrived.
Who?
Nolan Smith. Edge. He made another great play today. He was punching that ball out. He forced the one fumble. I've seen enough now in the last couple of weeks. Every single week, he's making an impact play on the football. And as a second-year player, I'm ready to say that Nolan Smith has arrived as an NFL player, as a contributor, and as an impact player on the defense.
I'm not there yet, and I'll tell you why, because I don't believe his size is going to be an advantage to him. I think that's going to be a detriment to him, because he's not the biggest dude. And by the way, they robbed him of that sack. They took that sack away from him. So, but I thought he did one thing that's important, Xander. I thought that he set the edge, but to sit there and say that guy is starting to live up to being a first-round draft pick, I am not there yet. I think he's come along, and I think he really has improved as a football player. But once again, I mean, has he taken the seat of Hassan Reddick? No. Has he been a guy that you're going to – well, he's drafted to do that. You're a first-round pick.
That's fine. Don't you got to give him a little more time, though? I mean, he's a second-year player. I think.
No. I'm more optimistic now, giving him more time. and not having to look. I'll tell you what I
Right.
do now also. I'm not looking to replace him, Zander. I'm looking to replace Sweat in the coming draft here because
Right.
Sweat with the knee and all that and the money, I'm looking to go into the edge, not looking at him. I'm looking at trying to get another guy on the edge. So no. I'm not. By the way, he's better than Huff. There's no doubt he's better than Huff because he can do more than Huff. Okay. And I'm in this position with him now. No. Let's move forward. More reps, another year. Let's see how his – one thing Vic brings up all the time about him is what? He's small. And that is a problem for Vic because he's not sure about how he's going to hold up. Now, remember something. He wasn't the starter, Zander. Okay? He was not the starter. BG was the starter. He's taking a lot of those reps. Let's see how the additional reps take its toll or doesn't take its toll on the war of attrition. But I will give you this. He has played a lot better and more so that you now know that he's part of the future moving forward.
Yep, absolutely. Another big player today that stuck out on defense. Breaking down the defense now. We broke down the offense at the start of the show, and I'll get to some super chats, and we'll continue to break down this entire game. And then later on in the show, we will talk to John McMullen, who will join us live from Lincoln Financial Field. So looking forward to doing that. Appreciate everybody watching right now. Don't forget to hit that like button for us, as it's one of the best things you can do to help the channel grow. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We recently hit 50,000 subscribers, and we can't thank all of you guys for your support of the channel. Another guy, Sills, CJ Gardner-Johnson, 2 picks today. He's got 6 on the year, back to the number he had in 22. So he continues to make an impact. And I'll say this, he is looking better and better down the stretch in the last couple of games. He started off the season a little slow. I think he's come on really strong and is playing his best football right now.
He did get banged up in the game too. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on too. So we'll probably get a little bit more from John on what his status is going to be moving forward. And that's why maybe next week is going to be very important for him to be able to get some rest himself. But he has upped his game. I'll tell you what, man, he has. I'd say the last month of the season, he has started to look like a little bit like the 22 Gardner-Johnson that we saw being able to patrol. I thought he jumped that route outstanding. I thought his getting to the football. He's a playmaker. He's not the best run fit guy. He's not the best tackler on the planet, but you know what he does do? He creates turnovers, and that's what you needed on that football team. And now you're starting to see the guy starting to play a lot better than what he has. I didn't really think he played very well in the first half of the season. I think he's playing a little bit better right now.
Yep, no doubt about it. Good stuff for the defense today. Good stuff really all around. I mean, you don't have your starting quarterback, and you go in versus a division opponent, and you win 41-7. That's no small feat. So the good job of the Philadelphia Eagles today handling business. Let's read a couple super chats here. Sills, we broke down offense and defense here. And special teams was good today. No blunders there. So good stuff there. Sills, let's see what Sills has to reply to this. Anthony Wilson says, Shock Jock Sills is back at it again. The Eagles are 1-4 all time without Jalen. Stop with the anybody can quarterback this team. Now to your point, Hope Hurts learns from Pickett and McKee how to get it out faster. I'm in the middle on this, Anthony. Look, I'm not in the Sills boat of Jalen stinks, but at the same time, we just beat the Dallas Cowboys 41-7, and he wasn't in the game. Anthony, I don't think it's a knock on Hurts. I think it's a credit to how good this roster is, and pointing that out isn't a bad thing. Sills, I'll come to you now. What's your response to Anthony Wilson here?
The 13 quarterback who had basically no reps this week went into that football game, and there wasn't a drop-off at all. As a matter of fact, the passing game was elevated. I mean, I've seen the Eagles play against shitty teams. I saw you play against – so wait a minute. Let me get this right, guys. So what happened in the Carolina game when the passing game was pathetic? Okay? The Dallas Cowboys have more talent than Carolina does. Okay? I mean, so when you had Micah Parsons out there, you had one of the top defensive players in the NFL out there. So where was the passing game against that shitty Carolina team? So when you get a third-team guy, not the first-team guy, going out there and elevating your passing game, like I said, do I think that Jalen Hurts is better than Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee as a starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles? No. But do I think both those guys are better pocket passers? Absolutely. I think that's evident. Jalen has not been a good pocket passer this year. He's been okay, not awful. The numbers have suffered this year, and they've been what they are. They're a Barkley-driven football team. And with their number 2 when it comes to Jalen Hurts running the football. Jalen is a more complete player than those other 2 guys. Nobody's going to dismiss that. That's a fact. But when it comes to being a pure passer, let me ask you this. After watching these 2 guys today do what they did, do you think Sam Darnold could come in here and do exactly what Sam Darnold's doing in Minnesota after watching what these 2 guys just did? I do.
I think it would look a little different than the Eagles look, but I don't think you're wrong. And again, I don't say that as I'm trying to tear anyone down or take away from anybody. I think it's the reality of our football team. And by the way, wouldn't you rather have a team that is more versatile enough to handle a backup quarterback than a team that sucks and is reliant? Well, who'd you rather be, the Bills or the Eagles? If they lose Josh Allen, they're not winning a game.
That's right. Dude, it's one of the only things that is – they're the only team in the NFL, Zander, that could lose their starting quarterback and still potentially win the Super Bowl. Now here, before you say that's not true, you did it in 17. You can do it again here because you basically have the same dynamic.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong about that. Good stuff, Anthony Wilson. I appreciate the super chat, brother. Thanks to Clark for becoming a member. You're officially entered into all of our giveaways. We will be giving away a Saquon Barkley jersey giveaway this week. So looking forward to doing that for everybody here. Let's get to a couple more super chats. Lord Lubu checked in at the start of the show, and he said, McKee needs to start against the New York Giants. I want to see more of what he can do. If there is a situation, Sills, next week where let's just say the starters are out, you like to see McKee over Pickett?
Because Pickett's banged up. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to put the healthiest guy out there and see what they can do with this. I mean, now again, if you put Tanner McKee out there without Saquon Barkley, okay, that's going to be a different look too. Yeah. Remember that? Okay?
That's true.
You put Kenny Gainwell in there, that's going to look different. So your boy might get planted on his ass. But if they're going for that record, Zander, 101, and you start Saquon Barkley and the entire starters, I have no issues in saying this. The Giants have waved the flag, dude. They're going to be one of the top teams to get a pick in April's draft.
And they won today.
Looking to win?
They won today.
Oh, my God. Total giant.
And I think they put up, if I'm not mistaken, they put up 45 points on the board. Let me look that game. Yeah, they won 45-33. Malik Neighbors had 7 catches for 171 and 2 tutties in that game. Drew Lock was 17-23 for 309 and 4 touchdowns. This guy said, you want the number 1 overall pick? Fuck you, New York. And he dishes out that game. You got to be kidding me.
I'll tell you what, man. And they beat a team that was 7-8, the Colts, that was fighting for the playoff spot. And they were sitting in the 9-hole with the potential to still make the playoffs. I'll tell you what that does, Joe Burrow. That's one of the stones that had to fall for Joe Burrow's Bengals to make it to the playoffs. They end up losing. They needed to lose one of the 2. Colts just lost that. Miami loses. And then Denver loses again. And the Bengals went out. They make the playoffs. After starting 1-4.
Yeah, that's insane. I will echo this comment. Slagger says, who the F was playing in that secondary? Dude. I mean, right, Slagger.
Cowboys are
Drew Lock, 17-23 for 309 and 4 touchdowns. Holy shit. What is going on there? Let's keep going. A couple super chats. Dober's Army checks in. If you're going to risk Saquon next week, should have just kept him rolling in this game to make next week easier and rest him sooner after he gets it. I kind of agree, Dobers. There was like 10 minutes left. I was almost thinking, well, you already played him this much. Just let him keep running. They couldn't stop him at the end of the game.
That's a great, hey, and like you said, wouldn't it have been better to get him as many yards as possible this week and then play him a quarter if he only needed 65 yards in a quarter and a half next week? Because now, again, 100 yards, that's a pretty good ball game that you're going to have to play at least 35 minutes. Well, depends. I don't know what Giant team's going to show up this coming week, but you can guarantee you this. John Mara's going to come down and go like this. Zander, Mike gets picked up on this one here. Ready? Hey, I do not want Barkley breaking that record versus the New York Giants. That is, I will pay all of you an incentive. He is not to break that record versus the team that said you have nothing left. Do you remember what those guys were saying in the Hard Knocks? Nobody's going to pay him big money for a guy that's kind of on the other side.
Unbelievable.
We'll see. Could you be?
We will see. You know, the other caveat there, I see a lot of people tweeting out, "Oh, just play him in the first half. He'll get the 100."
Yeah, that's not what
I'd
they're
have to
like.
check on this. I don't know if Saquon's had 100 in the first half yet. Remember, a lot of his yards have come in the second half of games. Even today, he had 40 yards at halftime or 41 at halftime. He ended up with 168. Like a lot of his yards come in the second half of games. So next week's going to be an interesting decision for the team.
He's a wear you out kind of guy, you know. Keep giving him the ball. Keep giving him the ball. He's going to catch you.
Yep, 100%. Brian Pumper says it's Tanner time. We're not going back. QB1 solidified.
Pumper, man. Hey, Pumper, Tanner McKee time. No, what is it? McKee season.
I will have to push back on McMullen because he told me Tanner McKee sucks out loud. Tanner McKee doesn't stink out loud. He's got a nice arm. He gets rid of the football.
Here's going to be John. Who the hell did they put out there? He's not wrong on that.
I know he's not wrong. He will have something. He'll have some sort of rebuttal for me on the show, which is good stuff. I appreciate it.
The passing game looked great today. Unbelievable, man.
I can't really look. It did look good, but I can't really agree with you that it was that crazy with other than Jay. I mean, without it was 13 and 19 for 197. That's about what it looked like with Jalen.
Right. It was balanced though.
It was balanced.
I mean, what did you see today that they hadn't done all year long with Hurts? What did you see that they did different? Anything different? I mean, wasn't that a normal performance by the Eagles today?
It was. And the other thing is, everybody says, and I say this as well, that Jalen helps in the running game. Well, yes. Saquon did have 31 for 167 today. So that narrative maybe is a little bit out the door, at least for the week. So it'll be interesting to see what they all do, man. What they do with this whole setup. And I don't know. What do you said you're leaning play next week. Does that mean you're putting Jalen Hurts back out there?
Not him. I'm not putting him out there. I'm going to put I might put Jalen out there. I might put Jalen out there because it would help Barkley. It would help Barkley more in the run game than the other two guys. If he's healthy to play, Zander, I might put him out there because you know why? Again, the +1, like John said in the pregame show, there's no question he helps in the run game. So it would probably give Barkley more of an opportunity to get that running attack number. And so I would play him out there now I think this is going to be a really big talking point this coming week because it's going to depend on Minnesota, Detroit on Monday night.
So can I just tell you something that I'm really excited about right now? All right. And I know you're not going to feel this, but everybody in the chat will. What did we beat the Cowboys the first time? Was it 34-6? Is that am I wrong on that score? Well, let's say it was 34-6. We beat the Cowboys this year 75-13 in a sweep of them. First time since 2011. Man, fuck the Dallas Cowboys. That's Eagle football, baby. That's what I'm talking about. 75-13.
Let me say this to you.
Whooping sells.
If you're Jerry Jones and you're Stephen Jones, there's no question. Look how far behind you are to the Dallas Cowboys. Their 13 quarterback is better than anything you have as a second-team quarterback. I mean, the receivers that the Eagles have. I mean, the O-line the Eagles have. Where do you have – and by the way, where the fuck was Micah Parsons? And once again, he was an absolute no-show. The generational player that my boy John McMullen keeps saying, I didn't even know he was on the field today. He was a non-factor.
I don't think he did anything today.
He was a non-factor. The only thing he did was hurt Pickett. That's the only thing.
Did he show up on the stat sheet? Where is Micah Parsons? He had 2 tackles today and 1 tackle for loss.
Generational.
1 quarterback hit.
Yeah, well, I don't think so. Okay. I don't see the had an offsides and he knocked Pickett out of the game. Okay, well, guess what? You had 41 put on you. How are you good when you have 41 put on you? Give me a break, man. That guy is a very good football player, but he is not a generational player.
I'm happy we throttled the shitty Cowboys again. They moved to 7-9 on the year. The Philadelphia Eagles moved to 13-3. Boy, that Zander win prediction is looking pretty good right about now.
Man, that regular season record looks absolutely unbelievable. Now, will you guys be able to do one thing that's the most important thing? Finish the race. You want to know who finishes the race? There's a team in the middle of the country by the name of the Kansas City Chiefs right now that are 15-1, and they're going for their three-peat, okay? And their fourth Super Bowl in 5 years. I don't know about you, Zander. That's a team that knows how to run through the tape. Do the Philadelphia Eagles know how to run through the tape? Yet to be answered, my friend.
Well, where you're right, and I will, and I'll differ from other Eagle fans. Maybe not the great people in JAKIB Nation because they're smart fans, but you're not wrong. We got to do it in the playoffs. This is all fun and games, but you get bounced in round one, it won't be so fun anymore. Josh Herman checks in. He says, "I want it to be known I posted my super before Sills' Parsons rant. So let me find his other super." He goes, "Did Parsons play? Last I heard, he was running his mouth about the birds in the words of Big Sills. Take a knee, kid." I love it.
Very nice,
great
Josh.
stuff by
Very
Herman.
nice stuff. Very good. Very good, Josh.
All right, appreciate that. Let's get to a commercial break here. When we come back, we'll dive more into this football game. Birds win 41.
Flick it, just going out there with that passing
Who was
offense.
better today, Flickett or McKay?
Let's answer that on the other side.
All right, let's do it. Appreciate everybody for being here. Hit that like button. We will return in 3 minutes on the JAKIB Postgame Show. Back in 3.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome back in, everybody, to the JAKIB Postgame Show. Philadelphia Eagles get the win today, 41-7. On the backside, Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee, both quarterbacks put up a good performance today. Kenny Pickett, 10 of 15, 143, and a touchdown. Tanner McKee was 3 for 4. With 2 touchdown passes and 54 yards. Saquon Barkley, though, will be the story once again this season. 31 carries, 167 yards, along a 23, and he's up over 2,000 for the year. Just the 9th rusher in NFL history to break 2,000 yards, and he's got a game to go to break Eric Dickerson's record, and we will see if he does that this week. Sills coming out of the break. Anything percolating in the big Sills mind after you just watched us throttle the Dallas Cowboys?
Are you ready for the playoffs? Are you ready? Do you believe that your football team right now is ready for a long playoff run? Do you believe with what you've seen, with what the other teams have, do you believe that you're ready? Do you believe your special teams is ready? Do you believe your defense is ready? Do you believe that your offense is clicking on all cylinders to go in and put up a performance that you're going to need to win against some pretty good coaches and some pretty hot teams? Remember, again, I don't know. Two teams I still am in this room. Dude, Minnesota's a good football team.
Yeah,
okay, they're a good football team, but I don't know how good they are. Now, they are in the toughest division in the NFC. That's the NFC North. Nobody can deny that right now. And right now, you've got a Green Bay and Minnesota game going on with about 6 minutes left in the first. You're talking 0-0 right now, so it's going back and forth. And that's going to be a game that's going to determine a lot of what happens next week and if the Eagles end up playing their starters. But I just don't know, man, on what we're looking at with Minnesota. I kind of know what we're looking at here with Green Bay. I think that Jordan Love has been playing some good football. Sam Darnold in the game is 5 of 8 for 28 yards. They're not been able to get the passing game going so far. But my question would be this, dude. Are they ready to roll into a game where they're going to have to go on the road potentially in an NFC championship game where you're going to have to roll in there and you're going to have to roll in either Minnesota or you're going to have to roll into Detroit to win a football game? Look, I think any of the top 3 teams can win the NFC. I think Minnesota, I think Detroit, and obviously I do Philadelphia. But don't go to sleep on Green Bay, man. You know, Green Bay's playing some good football over the last month. That'd be my only question. Is everything hitting on all cylinders? That would be the thought that I'd have going in, especially if you're going to rest your guys in a New York game.
Yep, and I think to answer that question, I feel pretty good about everything. And here's the things I feel best about talking about playoff football. I feel great because we can run the ball well. And I think when you get into the playoffs, teams that can run the ball well have a great advantage. I think the defense, with what they were able to do this week, bouncing back off of last week and the turnovers they've created in the last 2 weeks, I feel good about our defense as a playoff defense. If you want me to pick on my biggest concern right now for playoffs is the run defense has to be there. Because if you can't stop opponents in the run game in the playoffs, it's a whole different game and it opens up a lot. So without Nakobe Dean today, you kind of saw Rico Dowdle. He had over 100 yards. They had 130 rushing yards in the game today. You know, maybe
and
that's
that comes off that Washington game where Jaden Daniels and Washington ran the ball effectively. And remember something, Zander, if you happen to face them in the wild card opener the first week of the playoffs, they are like 5th, if I'm not mistaken, Washington in rushing. So they're going to be right in that conversation. So that's a good point on pointing that out, because now you know you're starting to see a little bit of, hey, man, long season, 18th week coming up. This is why maybe that rest in that final game against the Giants is going to be a big talking point this week.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So it will be what's your, objectively, what would be your biggest concern with this team playoff wise? I'm not talking about next week. I'm talking about when you get into playoffs and certain things matter more. As you know, you've been watching, covering football for a long time, playing football for a long time at the highest level. When you look at this Eagles team, what do you see as the biggest concern going into the playoffs?
Again, I think can you win a football game in the passing game if you have to? Okay. And Zander, by the way, just to walk back on your point, the Commandos are 3rd in rushing in the NFL. Okay, that's to your point. It's Eagles, Lions, and Commanders are your top 3 teams rushing. That's going to be a concern, like you said, on the defensive tackles and running the football. But to me, the passing game, if they stop somehow your running attack and they stop your run defense, okay, can you win a football game in the passing game against some of these playoff teams? I'll tell you again, you've got to look at Minnesota and how well that they played defensively. I'll tell you what, they've got some numbers in there that you could question on whether or not they're good, but I'll tell you one thing they are good at, and that is points allowed. They're right there with Philadelphia when it comes to points allowed in their defense. And Brian Flores is right in that conversation with the Todd Bowles. And don't forget also, hey, Tampa Bay is right there too. That could be another opponent.
Yeah, they look good today.
Have to face there too. So, you know, again, Zander, I mean, you're looking at Minnesota. That would be a question mark again a little bit for me. So it would be that passing game and their pass defense and how you're going to go about taking on some of these teams. How about this, man? Here's some of the teams that you're going to have to play if you get into the playoffs. The Commanders are 4th in pass defense right now. And I think that's got a lot to do with the addition of Marshawn Lattimore. I think that has something to do with it there. So you're going to see a good football team there. The Packers are 10th when it comes to pass defense. So can you win a football game if you had to? And by the way, the Vikings are 2nd in rush defense. It's going to be pretty interesting playoffs if the Eagles are going to be able to win a ball game in the passing game if they have to.
Yeah, it will be definitely interesting. We'll see how it all plays out. Right now, I'm feeling pretty good, everybody. Eagles sweep the Cowboys on the year. The first time they've done that since 2011. So what's that, 13 years? Yeah, 13 years ago. And they did it with a score of 75-13. Hey, Dallas Cowboys bend the knee to the Philadelphia Eagles. I want to thank everybody, by the way, for the super chats and all the likes on the show. I will never end a JAKIB live stream without reading every single super chat. So hang tight if you send in a super and I haven't quite read it yet. I will do my best.
So, Zander, are you piling on the Cowboys right now? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, fuck them. Yes. I am piling on the cow. That is the definite. You hear a lot of people say belt to ass. Okay. That is the definition of belt to ass. 2 football games, 75-13. Woo. That is belt to ass, my friend.
Boy, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, and like I said, man, this offseason, you got a lot of question marks on what you didn't do right this offseason. Zander, I'll tell you flat out, I think the Cowboys dicking around with those contracts with Dak, CeeDee Lamb, I think those guys – They ignored free agency, and it's costing you. Look at what they had. I wonder if the Eagles practice squad team could have went out there and gave them a better football game, because I didn't even know who the guys were playing in Dallas after the second half. It was terrible.
Yeah, a couple injuries today, but nothing major for the Eagles. So I think everything should be all good on that front. Matt NG checks in. He says, I think Kenny and Tanner played great, but I'm not confident in either of them starting a playoff game and winning for this team. Kenny and Jalen Hurts injuries are huge wrinkles on managing the end of the season. I think that's a fair point. I mean, I'm certainly not saying to play those quarterbacks in the playoffs, but I think they did a good job, in the last couple of years.
I'm just saying that, but I think what we're both saying is that they're the only team in the NFL that could probably withstand losing their quarterback, just like you did in 2017. And by the way, friends, don't say that can't happen, because it did happen. And it happened absolutely in your history that a backup quarterback led your team to a Super Bowl. And I think you've got pretty much the same kind of components in this game or in this team that you had in 2017. You've got really good football players like you had in 2017. You got really good football players now. You had a double-headed monster in 2017 in the run game, right, Zander?
Yep.
This year, you have a single-headed monster in Saquon. Basically, you had Saquon Barkley in 2017, but he was wrapped in one guy now. That's
kind of had a 3-headed monster in the Super Bowl too. You remember Corey Clement, undrafted guy out of South Jersey, great player, great guy. I met him personally, but he had a huge game in the Super Bowl. Then you had Jay Ajayi, then you had LeGarrette Blount. That was a 3-headed monster. But no, you're right. I mean, that's a good point by you. Matt NG followed it up and he said Gardner Minshew could be a god or a gremlin. This is a week-to-week league. Boy, if that ain't the truth. That is absolutely the truth.
That's why I consistently tell people there's no take, set, and cement when you're talking NFL football. What's Nick Sirianni say all the time? It's an imperfect league. And every week, if that's not magnified, you see it every week. You lose a guy in Jalen Hurts. You're trying to tell me that you don't think that there's going to be some type of different preparation for your team compared to when you have Jalen Hurts? That'd be asinine to say you're not and didn't prepare differently. I thought they managed both of those guys well. And to me, I'll tell you what, Zander, I think it was easier for Kellen Moore to coach both of these young quarterbacks than it is for him to coach Jalen Hurts, because that's not the style of coordinator he is. He's a coordinator that loves to drop back guy, and those are the only people that he's ever coached. And on top of that, that was the style of play he had when he played at Boise State and when he played in the NFL. This guy doesn't – he's not Cliff Kingsbury. He's not Todd Monken. He's not guys that have dealt with those type of styles. And you saw it play out today.
Yeah, no doubt.
How you doing?
I thought both of them played good today, though. Good stuff, and I was happy to see Tanner McKee get in there, too.
I had to pick a guy who I thought looked better. I thought Tanner looked better, okay? to me, I thought Tanner.
He only threw the ball 4 times, so it's hard to gauge.
Yeah, but I thought he stood in the pocket. True, there's too small of a sample size.
Yeah.
Pickett did more after the first couple 3 and outs. But boy, I'll tell you what, man, he stands in that pocket really tall. I like how he's stout.
He is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, we're used to seeing 6'1", 6 foot up, 6 foot Jalen Hurts. Tanner McKee came in there. I'm like, this guy looks like a jolly green giant back there.
I'd like to see more of him. I would. So maybe I would play him. And by the way, that may be something that's a foregone conclusion anyway, because this is the second week in a row that Pickett has been injured.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right about that. The ribs are one of those weird injuries though that linger and hang around. You remember when Jaden Daniels was dealing with it earlier in the year? The Commanders fans used that as their excuse. John checks in. He says, "I had to check the roster. I thought Howie snuck Joe Montana into the game."
Woo, John, do you see those passers, man? How the passing game was just everything was balanced. It was a rhythm like you were out on a dance floor. This thing was just humming along, man. Damn, that thing was unstoppable.
Good stuff, John. Appreciate it. Sydney family checks in. My resident Aussie. I told Big Sills Barkley would be awesome a few years ago. Rugby IQ, whatever that's supposed to mean.
Well, that means that he knows what he's doing when he's out there and he runs in traffic exceptionally well.
Right.
And Sydney, if you're a rugby player, you know that as well as anybody. Running in traffic, my daughter and I were watching. Let me tell you what my daughter, who's on top flight rugby player, said about Saquon Barkley. She's like, he runs with great patience. And guess what? He can run you over and he can run in space. And she's like, you see him put that anchor foot down? My daughter knows what an anchor foot is. And he puts that anchor foot down, and Zander, he makes that cut. He is one of the best backs I've seen do that. What a shame he was in New York for all them years.
Yeah, it really does suck that he was there for all those years. I appreciate all the super chats, by the way, today. We're going to talk to John McMullen shortly, waiting to hear back from him. He is probably in the press conferences there, talking to Jalen and Nick after the game. So once he wraps up with them, he will join the show. So we will continue.
You know what my favorite type of game is when Nick doesn't have to do shit and he doesn't have to put his handprint on anything here, man. I mean, hey, by the way, what do you make of Kellen Moore and how he called that game plan? What would you give the game plan calling for the second and third team quarterback that went out there and put a balanced attack together? What would you give him?
Well, you know what? I think even with Jalen Hurts out of the game, I think the first quarter struggles were still there. The offense didn't move the ball well, and without the pick six, we would have had no points on the board from CJ Gardner-Johnson. So I thought he got better as the game went on, and I don't think you're breaking news to say, Jalen Hurts, this is the first time Kellen Moore's coached a quarterback like him. He's used to throwers of the football. It's not unfair to point that out, and maybe they're not the greatest match. I don't know. I think they've won a lot of games together already, but you're right. 31st ranked passing offense is a regression by every metric from the last couple of years. So it is something to keep your eye on. I don't think you're unfair to point it out.
How about this? When your quarterback's going to throw for 29-03, 18 touchdowns in 15 ball games, that's if he doesn't play. That's what he'll end the regular season on. And I tweeted this out yesterday. And you're paying the amount of money. You got to always remember, people are going to go like this. Well, it's not my money and it's not your money, Sills. Yeah, but no, the owner's going to look at it. Am I getting cost effective? And what am I building here? Well, when you put $51 million in 2 receivers and a $50 million in a quarterback and 15 more million, that's $116 million that you put in 4 players. Do you think you got your money back on what you're trying to do when you're the 31st ranked passing offense in pro football? Do you really think that's how their intention was to build the team when you're spending half of your salary cap on 4 players?
Well, I think there's a two-sided thing because you're not wrong to point that out. But if they win, nobody's going to care. Now, if they get knocked out of the playoffs and they can't pass the ball well in the playoffs, what you just said is going to become the highlight of all summer.
Okay. I'll tell you what I'll do. You're right. If they get bounced because they can't throw the ball in the playoffs, that is the biggest factor on why this football team didn't win the Super Bowl. Do we agree on that?
100%.
Okay. Because, again, you're right. It's not a factor right now because they've won 13 ball games.
Right.
Correct. Absolutely true. But if I'm looking how I've constructed this team financially, knowing that there's a salary cap here, that's not how I built this team. Okay? The lowest paid guy in the building is, guess who? Barkley. When it comes to those, not even Goddard makes more. So you are building the team to be a running attack. You were building it to be a prolific passing attack. You're right, Zander. If this team can't win in the passing game, that'll be the number one reason why they don't win the Super Bowl. It won't be because of the defense, and it won't be because of anything other than the fact they couldn't throw the ball when they needed to in the postseason. Do we all agree on that?
I will agree if this talking point will be very prominent if that's the reason they get knocked out. If they can march their way to the Super Bowl, I think $116 million you spent on the passing game, who the hell cares? You spent the money to win the game. Right. It's a non-factor. But we'll see what ends up happening with it. I do think it's something to keep your eye on, though. Mad Dio says, you're blind if you don't see McKee as better passing than Pickett or Hurts, but not better QB than Hurts. Brady over Rodgers, Hurts over Dak every Sunday. I think what he's saying is McKee can pass the ball better, but he likes Jalen as an overall quarterback. I think that's what he's saying there.
Yeah, that's kind of what he's saying there. But again, Zander made the point. He's only thrown the ball 5 times. Hey, how about that whole thing there, too? What I loved, A.J. Brown blew a gasket. So what did he do? He threw the football in the stands, McKee's first TD pass in his career, and he went like this. Oh, my God.
I love that Eagle fan. He looked like a JAKIB supporter to me. I don't know if he is, but he looked like a JAKIB supporter.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie, The Other Guy, when the guy goes, hot dogs for everybody, but no drinks. And he was doing this in the stands. And here's AJ going,
but then they showed him after he gave the ball back, and he's like, I got you, AJ. I got you. I'm like, that's a JAKIB fan right there. I
got to tell you, man, my family goes, I'm surprised an Eagle fan gave him the ball back.
Yeah. Now, they'll do that. The stadium itself, if you're winning and you're beating the Cowboys 41 the stadium at home, the Link can be a surprisingly friendly place. You start losing, though, and you can't throw the ball or whatever, the boo birds are out, that place can get hostile quick.
Well, the only reason that place is friendly because it's 13 wins, like you said.
Yep, exactly. Good stuff. I appreciate all the super chats. We'll have John. I just heard from John McMullen. He's going to join us in just a second here on the show. So looking forward to talking to him. We'll rip off a couple super chats before we get out of here, or before we get to John. James says, congrats, Zander. You beat the hell out of Dallas. You got the East. We were close last week. Should have put Tanner in against us. Go Redskins. James, you're done. You're done, James.
Hey, James, congratulations, man. We're probably going to fall a game short of winning the NFC East, but you are going to make the playoffs. And by the way, you've got the best quarterback in the NFC East, and that's not an issue and not a talking point, because he's had the best season of any quarterback in the NFC East, has Jaden Daniels. There's no question about it.
I think it is fair to say he's probably had the best season at this point. That's all right. I'm all right with that.
That doesn't
I'll
mean
take the 13 wins.
I'll
take the 13 wins, everybody.
Hey, that doesn't mean he's the better guy. That just means he's had a better season. Shit, Sam Darnold's had a better season than the majority of the quarterbacks in the NFC, which is insane to say. Who would say that? I mean,
I'm not sure what's going on in that game right now. 3-0 Green Bay has the lead. We'll keep you guys posted on that game. Obviously, some implications in that game for the Philadelphia Eagles here. So we got John McMullen joining us now. Let me make sure his connection is stabilized, and then I will go to the man, the number one Eagles beat reporter covering the Philadelphia Eagles, joining us now on the JAKIB Postgame Show, Johnny Mack here. John, welcome to the show, my man. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, guys? NFC East champions. Boy, that was a beatdown. That was a beatdown with 2 backup quarterbacks, which tells you where Dallas is. So from that perspective, but no, it was certainly an impressive performance by the Eagles and took care of business, and that's what was in front of them, and they mowed them down. I think, if you look at that first game, I think was 34-6.
Yep.
So here we go. 40. I mean, this is, I don't know.
75-13, John, in 2 games versus the Cowboys.
I don't know if Jerry Jones is going to be able to sustain this. So, but really impressive performance. And they were able to get Saquon Barkley 2,000 yards, which I don't know. How was everybody feeling about that? Because I'm like, boy, that's a season high in carries, and they're trying to get him to that level. And it's great history and all that kind of stuff. But as Nick kind of said, that's a delicate balancing act when you talk about the future of this team and the goals of this team. But they got out of it, and Saquon's healthy.
How about this, John? He's only had 293 carries. That was 3 years ago, I believe. He's at 340 carries right now with a game remaining, and he's 101 behind now, determining on what happens tonight with Minnesota and Monday, like we said in the pregame show, with Detroit home field advantage. I mean, we'll know a little more on what they're going to have to do, but I'm assuming, John, that they're going to at least try to get him that number because he's pretty close to it. He's 101, and he's been averaging over 112, 113 yards a game this year. So I'm assuming they're going to get him an opportunity to at least try to get that 2105.
Yeah, I think they will if the number one seed is still in the offing. So we have to see, as you mentioned, Minnesota's up early. They just scored. Detroit's playing on Monday night. If there is no path, I don't think he's playing. I think that's why they got to 2,000 yards. That was the goal today, and it was a goal. Make no mistake about it. Talk to everybody afterwards. They wanted to hit that 2,000 mark today. So if it doesn't work out where they have an opportunity, I do think they're going to sit him next week. And I think Saquon understands, and that's why it meant so much to go over 2,000 yards today.
How about this, Zander? I want to put this in your head, Zander. I'm not sure, John. Please remind me, even though I played during that time, I don't remember if we had a bye back in the day like that. I don't know if we did, but I know it was in 16 ball games, Zander. And Eric Dickerson in 1984-85 went for 2105, and I don't believe there was a bye during the NFL during that time back in the day. And this guy played 16 consecutive weeks, and he played in one game less, just to show you how incredible that season was. And let's not forget something, John. The year before that, he went for 1880. So, I mean, his first year in the league, he went for 1880. In the second year, he went for 2105. I don't remember, John, if there was a bye, because I was in the league then. I don't remember if we had one.
No, there was not. The bye week did not come in that early. So it was 16 consecutive weeks. There's a lot of things. Eric did it in 16. O.J. Simpson did it in 14 games. So,
he did 2103, actually, what Barkley has.
Yeah, that was the best running season in NFL history, but the NFL wants you to forget that, I think.
For obvious reasons. Yeah. But only, no matter what, 14, 16, 17.
Oh, yes.
Only 9 people in the history of this game have done it. You can make an argument in the other direction. Saquon, if he does it, he'll actually do it in less carries than Eric Dickerson did. So you could look at it from that perspective. But the game has changed. And what Eric Dickerson really did was impressive. What Saquon Barkley's doing is incredibly impressive. What O.J. Simpson did was impressive. And everybody's gone over 2,000 yards. Adrian Peterson, Chris Johnson, guys like that. More recently, it's always a phenomenal season. And that's what Saquon's been able to accomplish. So, if he does break the record, people may bring that up for a few years, but they'll forget about it. And they'll say Saquon Barkley's the all-time leading rusher in NFL history, and it'll recede just like everybody talks about Eric Dickerson today and doesn't talk about O.J. Simpson. Now, there are other reasons, but even before that, no one talked about 14 versus 16. No one talks about, for many years, they made a movie in baseball, Asterisk 61. For many years, people forget about it now. So it'll recede into history. Bottom line is, if you run for 2,000 yards in this league, you had a really freaking good year.
Absolutely.
John, talking about those backup quarterbacks today, Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee. I thought both of them looked pretty good. And John, many are calling for you to eat some crow on Tanner McKee. John, how did that happen?
Oh, wow. Is that the case?
That is prominent in the chat today, John. Yes, it is.
Hey, John, they rolled out a JV practice squad team against the Eagles in the secondary.
Yeah. I mean, Kenny Pickett played pretty well in that second quarter. Kenny Pickett had him winning the game when he left, and he aggravated his ribs. But, Tanner McKee's able to, throw the back shoulder touchdown. It was funny because A.J. Brown had the best arm of anybody in this game. He threw that ball so far into the stands, and he forgot it was Tanner McKee's first touchdown. But you should have seen this throw that A.J. made celebrating. So they were able to get the ball back, and congratulations to Tanner McKee. But yeah, I mean, come on, guys. If that's what you're talking about, come on. You don't think Kenny Pickett played well?
I thought he played
after the first couple drives. I'll tell you what, Kenny Pickett was a hell of a lot better than Cooper Rush as a backup quarterback.
Too, John, I'll make this point to you too. I thought Kenny Pickett got the football out of his hands quicker than anything I've seen all year. And for the first time, albeit you had a second and third team guy, and I know it was the Cowboys, but these are the second and third team quarterbacks. Personally, I thought that was the more balanced football game that I've seen the Eagles play. One of the top games I've seen.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought I was going to get when Zander said that. I'm like, because I'd said on Burst 365 during the week, if they do have a good game offensively, you're going to hear about it because it's going to look different. It's going to be on-time throws. It's going to be throws with anticipation. It's going to get the ball out in time of that happen. But yeah, it's weird because Kenny Pickett is from Ocean Township, New Jersey, grew up an Eagles fan. And I don't know, no Eagles fans like him. It's weird to me. It's weird. He's never played. He's only had success when he's played. Played pretty well last week. Played pretty well this week. I don't know what the kerfuffle is about Kenny Pickett.
Well hey, John, just to be fair, I mean, people from New Jersey are assholes, I think. I don't know. That's kind of what people are talking to a guy from New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm from Jersey, so it's true because people think I'm an asshole. Yeah. People think I'm an asshole. But maybe that's why. I don't know, but usually if you're an Eagles fan, and Kenny was a legitimate Eagles fan growing up, normally that buys you some dispensation. Where if you're Donnell Pumphrey and you're wearing your LA Dodgers gear everywhere you go, you get shit upon. That's the nature of Philadelphia because you got to be 4 for 4, no matter where you were born or grew up or liked or that kind of nonsense. But Kenny Pickett's one of you guys.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm like, I don't get it either. I think that just goes with the territory there, man. But hey, John, because he's banged up, determining on what happens tonight here in this Minnesota and on Monday night, do you sit Hurts? Do you put him in there with Barkley to help him if there is a need to play that game against the Giants? And by the way, I said it would be poetic justice that he would break that record versus the New York Giants with John Mara sitting in the owner's box watching him break that record. I mean, do you play Hurts to help him? Because as you said, he's +1 in the run game, which would make it a little easier for him to break that record.
Yeah, I mean, if they have to play, I think Jalen's going to play. I mean, he's going to pass the protocol. So if they have to play, if they have to win the game, and the number 1 seed is on the line, Jalen Hurts is going to play. It's not a matter of doing it for Saquon Barkley if they just have to win the game. So he's going to pass the protocol and he's going to be fine. He's going to play. The only way he's not going to play is if it doesn't mean anything. And that's everybody, including, I believe, Saquon Barkley. Now, a little bit complicated as you said, because it is a very historic record. The offensive line is pushing for this as well. They want it. Sometimes I think they want it more than Saquon wants it, to be honest. So they'll probably be lobbying. And we saw, early in the season, if you think about at the bye week and Lane Johnson and everybody lobbying to go to a more run sort of centric offense, that was Lane and Jordan. So they've had some success lobbying Nick Sirianni before. But I don't know, man. I'm like, all it takes is one injury, and this team is going to get killed. It doesn't have to be Saquon Barkley. It could be Lane Johnson. It could be Jordan Mailata. It could be Landon Dickerson. It could be Mekhi Becton. It could be Cam Jurgens. If you're playing everybody just to get a record, is that a good thing to do? I'll leave that up to everybody else. I mean, my answer is obvious. I wouldn't even consider it, but everybody's a little bit different.
How about this, John? Let me ask you this here for the assistants. Could you imagine if Jeff Stoutland has an offensive line that breaks the 2105, the number one rushing attack, and you have one of the top-rated offenses in football, and then you turn around on the other side, and you have another historic situation where Vic Fangio has the number one ranked defense for the first time in his career. That's quite a year compared to what you were looking at a year ago, where you have two assistants with all-time numbers of having the single-season rushing mark, and your defensive coordinator has the number one defense in pro football. I'll tell you, that goes back to Andy Reid assistant coaches, what we're talking about, or maybe even the 17 assistant coaches that helped win that Super Bowl. That'd be pretty iconic if you were able to do something like that. Plus, of course, capping it off with a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the goal. And, a lot of hurdles. I mean, I talk about Kansas City. Nobody seems to talk about Kansas City. I mean, that team is just peaking at the exact right time. They have a championship pedigree. So I have to consider them the favorites until somebody knocks them off. Baltimore, Lamar Jackson's making another run. We talk about it. He's already won 2 MVPs. This is his best year statistically. Detroit has been able to persevere. Minnesota, for whatever people say about them, they're 13-2. I mean, they're doing something right. And we'll see if they're able to win this game that's going on right now. So there's a lot of teams that could be in the mix, that could knock the Eagles off. But I also say the same thing about the Eagles. The Eagles, if they play well, if they do things correctly, they can certainly beat anybody when they're playing at their highest level. But we know how quickly things turn when it comes to attrition. And it only takes one game. And to think about that, you only have to go back to last year. A.J. Brown getting hurt in week 18. Completely different team that showed up in Tampa for the playoffs. Now, obviously, people say, well, the Eagles were in the midst of a collapse, and they certainly were. But I think they would have looked a lot different if A.J. Brown was on the field. So that's how quickly things can turn from an attrition standpoint. And if you have nothing to play for in week 18, then don't play. If you do have something to play for, play. And by not play, you know what I mean. I mean, sit most of your – obviously the guys are out there going to fight, and they should be able to beat the New York Giants anyway, to be honest. But, you got to rest your really, really key players.
John, you talking about the New York Giants that dropped 45 today on the Colts? Come on, Johnny Mac.
Yeah. Well, good for them. Well, maybe not good for them because that's a New York. Did they lose the number one pick in the draft?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know why. Even when the Giants win, they still lose. I think it was the great Joe Whipp who said that in the chat. Even when they win, they lose.
Yeah. So I think they would rather have the number one pick in the draft than the decision for the best quarterback versus Drew Lock, who's not even going to be there, have the best game of his life. I don't know. They would probably trade that.
Hey, Johnny, is 1-0 versus Philly. He does have a win from a year ago.
That's true. He beat him with Seattle. Yeah. He beat him with Seattle. And that's, he had a 155.3 passer rating today, Drew Lock. I think Tanner was at 156.2. Wow. But Tanner only had 4 throws. So that bad.
John, talking about that defense.
Hey, John, again, like I said, that's how the offense was supposed to. Don't you think, John, that's how they envisioned the offense to look on a week-to-week basis was what we saw today? Isn't that what they were looking for it to be, where they were as balanced? And again, the numbers again.
No, I know because, they know Jalen Hurts is a unique player. What they were looking for is an evolution of the offense and to add more of that in. But look, if you have Kenny Pickett playing or Tanner McKee playing, Kellen Moore's going to build a different game plan than if he has Jalen Hurts playing. But, the Eagles are a better team when Jalen Hurts is on the field. I hope nobody's going to argue that. it may not look as aesthetic at times. It may not look as pretty as times, but they're a better football team. So I don't think they have a problem with it not looking the way certain people want it to look, with the anticipatory throws on time, that kind of stuff, because the off schedule stuff is very important when Jalen Hurts is on the field. So, but I do think it's fair to say they hope the evolution would have been greater this year than it was. And that's what they were working on. They were working on that, obviously against Pittsburgh. They planned to work on it against Washington. And as everybody said, you got to fix it while you still have time to fix it. And unfortunately, he got hurt. So they didn't really have that extra time to fix it.
Yeah, it will be interesting. I'm sure there will be people out there talking about it, John. We haven't put up a 40 burger all year, and you did it today without Jalen. So the chatter will be out there.
Oh boy. Yeah, you know who you also did it with against the Dallas Cowboys. So, people like pretend that the opposition doesn't exist. Does everybody think that was a great team out there trying to stop Tanner McKee down the stretch? They had given up. I thought they took the bus. I thought half the team took the bus out of the link, to be honest. They'd given up. And rightfully so. They got destroyed.
John, talking about the defense, they're coming off their worst game last week when they had 5 turnovers, which is crazy to say, but they had another 4 turnovers today. John, that's 9 turnovers in 2 games. That's pretty insane. What'd you see from the defense today, Johnny Mac?
Yeah, I mean, those things and they had 4 the first time they played the Cowboys. They had 4 turnovers. So that's a part of it as well. Everybody, Dan knows, he used to play defense. Those things tend to come in waves. And once it comes, you start thinking about it. Again, Cooper Rush is out there. I don't know if anybody saw the pick 6 to CJ Gardner-Johnson, but I know Cooper Rush didn't see CJ Gardner-Johnson because he threw it right to him. Then the other interception to CJ was just a moon ball that he overthrew by 10 yards. I don't know what he was trying to do there. Then you had the 2 forced fumbles. Oren Burks got one of them. I believe Nolan Smith had the other. So, yeah, they're turning it over, and they scored a lot of points off turnovers. So they could, if you think about halftime, when they scored at the end of halftime, they had a walk-off sort of tush-push, walk-off halftime tush-push touchdown to make it 24-7. The game was over right then and there. And of those 24 points, they scored 17 of them off turnovers. So, yeah, the defense deserves a lot of credit. But again, not the best bow out there. Let's be honest about that as well.
How about this, John? It just shows you once again the coaching, too. I mean, the leading tackler for the Eagles today was Oren Burks. I mean, Vic.
Some of those early were 8 yards down the field.
I get it, though, John, but he was functional in that game. I mean, we're talking
about –
he made
a play. Functional. It was interesting. I don't think he played well the first 2 series. Dallas was moving the ball. And all of a sudden, they put Trotter out there. And we're thinking, oh, man, did they bench Oren Burks that quickly? Because he was getting beat up a little bit. And evidently, it was just the plan. They wanted to get both some work. And then Oren came back. When Oren came back in, the first play was when he had the fumble, the strip. So that was their plan. But he's a veteran guy. He's been playing for a long time. He came into the Super Bowl last year when Drake Greenlaw got
That's
hurt.
right.
So he's played, he was on Green Bay for years. He's played playoff football there. So he's done a lot of things for a lot of years. He's a good backup linebacker in this league. But, yeah, they missed Nakobe Dean, especially early in the game. As I said, what Dallas gave up, it's not that big of a deal. But early in the game, Dallas was moving the football pretty effective. And you could see they missed Nakobe really, really badly. They need him back because even though it's nice to have a veteran guy who's not going to be overwhelmed by the moment, there's a significant difference between Nakobe Dean and Oren Burks.
John, what's your feeling on the length of time for Dean being out? I mean, did they give you any indication that what
no, Nick never gives us any indication because he's hyper focused on competitive advantage. But all I can say is Nakobe, I saw him. He was on the field before the game. I don't think it's serious. He was practicing during the week. He was trying to make it, so I think it was close. So I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing. They certainly wouldn't have let him down the field on the field if they thought it was serious. So he should be fine. And again, the goal is not next week. The goal is to get him ready for the playoffs.
Good stuff, Johnny Mac. Any other takeaways from this game, John? You just destroyed the Dallas Cowboys today. I feel good about that, if nothing else. 41-7, Johnny Mac. They had no chance.
No, I thought they came out and they played. They were playing hard, and as I said, they moved the football pretty well. And on the first drive, I mean, they were moving the football, and all of a sudden, Cooper Rush makes a big mistake. Throws the football right to CJ Gardner-Johnson, didn't even see him, it looked like. So, I mean, that makes it really difficult when you turn the football over. And then once the second interception and the Eagles were able to go right down the field and finish it off, again, that would have been an issue had they not gotten that tush-push touchdown, because I don't think Nick Sirianni handled that time management well at the end of the first half. But they were able to get in, so nobody's going to talk about it. But I don't think that was handled well, because remember, the clock was going to run out. The clock did run out on that play. So if they don't get in, there's no timeout, there's no field goal, there's no other chance. Nick would have gotten a lot of for mishandling the end of the half. But when you win 41-7, that stuff's a footnote.
Johnny Mac, good stuff, man. We appreciate you joining in today on the JAKIB Postgame Show. We'll talk to you in the morning on Birds 365. All right, man, get out of there safely, and good stuff today.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Right.
Thanks, John.
Good stuff from Johnny Mac joining us here on the JAKIB Postgame Show. Enjoyed talking with him about that game. Where are you? We're we're about an hour 27 into the show. Where's the big Sills brain? So I have a preview of tomorrow's 2 to 6 National Football Show.
Man, I'll tell you, look at how that offense looks when you have a competent passer behind center. That thing looks great. Can you imagine Barkley running the ball like that and throwing the ball in leading receivers and a competent pocket passer? Holy cow, that thing looked absolutely awesome. And by the way, these guys are bums. These guys are cast-offs. These guys are streetwalkers. These guys should be playing in the UFL or the Canadian Football League. And they put a 40-burger up on the Dallas Cowboys. Man, made me not think that Jalen Hurts even played on that football team, because that's all I heard from people like Seth Joyner. Now you see the importance of Jalen Hurts. I didn't see it today. I didn't see the importance of that quarterback not being out there. And I say to Zander, in all seriousness, it truly is a testament to the roster.
It is. Howie Roseman's feeling good right now. Trust me.
Yes. Yeah. He is. By the way, like I said, dude, Oren Burke, people are going to go like this. Sills, you don't really think he was – no, but I didn't think it was a nosedive off from the Kobe where you had a guy that was completely incompetent in there where, Zander, last year, did we not see incompetent linebacker play?
Completely incompetent.
Okay, well, that wasn't on display today.
Yeah. Nakobe Dean's been really good. You saw that for sure today. And Zach Bond, obviously another. Are you feeling a little salty that we beat the Cowboys 75-13 this year?
Hey, the Cowboys deserve this. They absolutely deserve this, because the Dallas Cowboys are more worried about the star on the hat than they are about winning football games.
That's beating Stills.
Hey, no. You know why I have said this for 30 years about the Cowboys. You know what it is? Hey, Jerry, you've never replaced Jimmy Johnson. That's the most evident thing that's been on the planet. You think you're the best builder of a Super Bowl? Well, guess what? You haven't built one. Who's the one guy he hasn't replaced? Jimmy.
Yep.
And the story.
Completely true. We're going to a few more super chat stills, and we'll let you get out of here. Give your final thoughts here. NJ Fishing checked in. He said, "Imagine Saquon breaking the record against the Giants. Come on, man, you have to play him."
Oh my God, man! You get to do that at Lincoln Financial with John
I'm
Barrett
a little torn on this. I'm not going to lie.
in the box. I want him to do it.
Yeah, but this is what John always says, man, on Birds 365, and I think he's right. He's like, that's what 9 and 8 teams do. That's what 7 and 10 teams do. They care about vanity metrics, you know?
That's not that. Dude, you know what the NFL player cares about? Making history. Not just winning Super Bowls. It is about that. It's about being historic. Don't you?
But doesn't that mindset sometimes not coincide with the champion's mindset of I'm focused on one goal, winning the Super Bowl?
Wait a minute. Fuck that. I want it all.
I'm not saying that that's the thing. I'm putting it out there as a kind of a devil's advocate, the other side.
Xander, I'll give you a little Papa Bear kind of conversation here to you. When I'm sitting on the top of the mountain here and I see all the girls down there and I see all the pretty girls, I don't want one. I want them all. I want it all, dude. Okay? I want it all. I mean, I want the records. I want the notoriety. I want the championships. I want all of it. Okay? And, dude, can you imagine, like I said, Vic Fangio with the #1 defense and Jeff Stoutland with the all-time single-season rushing mark? Those guys are going to Pro Football Hall of Fame if they win the Super Bowl.
Couple more supers here. Brian Pumper says, Johnny Mac, eat your words on Saquon and my savior, Tan the God. Jalen Knights thought they was special. Tanner Manning is that dude. You got to be
Tanner Manning. Holy cow.
I like Tanner McKee. I do.
Holy
you know
cow,
what? You know what I'll say about
like
Tanner
Peyton
McKee?
Manning out there.
You know what I'll say about Tanner McKee? I do not think he's a career backup. I think if it's not in Philly, I do think he will start somewhere eventually. I think he has that type of potential.
Think he gets an opportunity when he becomes a free agent to go somewhere.
Yeah, it's hard to when you're a 3, right? Like if you're a 2, maybe someone gives you he's a 3. So he is.
How do you know they're not hiding him on the bench?
I know.
Putting Pickett in there because I'll tell you what, man. Hey, if you're gonna give a kid an opportunity, I know who Pickett is. I don't know who this guy is. Hey, remember who was a 13 quarterback at one time? Tom Brady.
It's true. Rob checks in. What's up, Rob? Appreciate you, brother. Simply put, the Eagles win with Hurts, not because of him. They would be unstoppable with a prolific passer like Burrow, Allen, Herbert.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine Joe Burrow in this offense? He'd put up 600 yards a game in this thing. And you'd go 3 years without losing a regular season game if you had a guy like Joe Burrow. How you doing?
I do. I would be lying if I said I didn't. I don't wonder what it would look like. All right. Tanner is QB1. Johnny Mac eats shorts. Motherfucker can actually throw a football and read a defense. Jalen needs to work on putting the fries in the bag. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Are you saying he is a guy who puts at the drive up the Big Mac, the Happy Meal, and the fries? Pumper? Holy cow. What Pumper, like a mailman, right? How you doing?
You got to be kidding me, man. All right, a couple more super chats and we'll let Sills go. John says, I told you they was just waiting to unleash the McKee train.
5 attempts. I even have to
Guys,
go with Tanner.
Okay, wait a second. Listen, it was fun. Okay, I love Tanner McKee. Great story. Great guy. 6 foot. He threw 4 fucking passes today, guy.
Really?
He threw 4 passes. All right, let's take a deep breath. All right, threw 4 passes.
Pickett played really well for a backup. I mean, look, dude.
That one, you know what I thought Pickett's best throw of the day was the touchdown to A.J. Brown that got wiped off the board.
Oh, my God.
He was scrambling out. That was when he got hit by Micah.
He did that on the throw.
Yeah, that was a good throw, man. That was a really good throw.
Did he roll left in that one?
No, he was rolling right.
Oh, he rolled right. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say it'd be the first time in about 4 years I saw a guy roll left. I was just keeping score here.
Look at this. 4 perfect, glorious passes.
That's so true.
You can tell these people are Sileo listeners, can you? By the way, they comment.
Yeah, floor glory.
Brian Pumper, 4 beautiful passes, Xander. All right, everybody. It's 4 fucking passes. Keep the main read, Jalen. You got to be kidding me, man.
Hey, That's the super of the day right there. Keep the main read, the main read. That's awesome.
All right, Stills, your final thoughts on this game, man. 41-7, an ass beating. An ass beating. Eagles over Cowboys. What's your final thoughts before I let you go, brother?
Team's a little banged up right now. And how important is that bye going to be if they create their own bye, and what happens with Minnesota tonight and Detroit? Do you play your starters in the first half to get him that record? How important is that going to be for them if that game doesn't matter going into New York? Yeah. Personally, Zander, if he doesn't get that record by halftime, I'm not playing him in the second half, and I don't care if he's 60, 70 yards shy. I'm not playing him just to get that. I'll play you maybe a quarter and a half to see him. By the way, wouldn't you want to get some rhythm also with Jalen having missed basically a week and a half of football so that he feels good going in to that wild card game? Because if everything plays out right now, the Eagles are going to be in the 3 hole with the 2nd seed. That means this: either Minnesota or Detroit are going to win home field, and you're no worse than the 2nd seed. Everything falls right, you're 1, okay? And then with the potential of doing this too, let's not forget, Minnesota or Detroit gets upset in the playoffs, you could still be hosting the NFC Championship game at Lincoln Financial. So, a lot to be told. I'll tell you what, this is a big week coming up here on seeing what happens, especially after Monday night.
I just got a message, and I can't confirm this yet, but I got a message that Kenny Pickett has broken ribs. Now, I'm not sure. I will try and confirm that, but we will see if Kenny Pickett, he could be out of the game. You'll see maybe a whole week, a whole game of Tanner McKee maybe next week.
Holy cow, man. Tanner Manning. I like it, Pumper. Tanner Manning gets a full week of practice.
Pumper, what the hell did you do to me? I'm going to be dealing with this shit all week long now. So, great show, man. I'm going to let you go. 2 to 6 tomorrow, National Football Show. It's going to be a great one. We appreciate you doing it today, my friend, and we will talk to you tomorrow on the National Football Show.
God bless everybody. I appreciate you guys in here. Please hit that like button. Zander, we'll see you tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern time on the National Football Show. Guys, thank you so much. And a great win for the Philadelphia Eagles. And man, that passing game was awesome. I'll see you tomorrow, 2 to 6.
Later, Sills. God bless you, brother. Good stuff from Big Sills here on the JAKIB Postgame Show. I knew he was going to have fun with this one. I knew he was going to have some fun with this one. Listen, everybody, it's great talking with John and Sills here on the postgame show. I'm going to update everybody. We will stick around. I will bring on some great people from JAKIB Nation. I'll send out the link, and you guys will be free to join the show. Here's the caveat, by the way, new caveat for those who join. JAKIB members will have first priority. So if you join the show and you're not a member, you're going to get pushed to the back of the line, all right? And if you're a member, you're coming on in, and I'll put you to the front of the line based on who joins first. So looking forward to talking to all you guys. I am feeling good, though, everybody. I mean, look, when you sweep the Cowboys and you win 75-13 across 2 games, it's safe to say you feel pretty good. You feel pretty good as an Eagle fan. So some questions here late in the year, but overall, that's a big win for the team, and they're now clinched the minimum 2 seed. So minimum 2 seed, we're sitting pretty. For the Eagles, I think we're going to get the Commanders in the round 1 of the playoffs, because I don't think we're getting the 1 seed. I know people still want it, but I just don't see the Cowboys or the Lions losing tomorrow to the Niners. I don't see that. Anything is possible, but the Niners, I think, are out, and they're not playing hard, and so I'm kind of focused in on. I think we're going to be the 2 seed. What do our matchups look like? But we will do all that. I'll read a couple super chats here, then I'll get to a commercial break. Then I'll bring on some people from JAKIB Nation, and we will do the same thing. Short and concise, guys, 3 to 4 minutes for each of you, and I'll try and roll through as many of you as I can. All right. Let me read a couple super chats here that I missed. Clary Voigt checks in. Hurts plays Sills' hair wet and slicked back. Reminds me of Ace Ventura in the shower when he realized he kissed a man. Hurts lives rent-free with Sills. That's a scathing chat there. Brian Pumper says, no one is a match for the Tannersaurus Rex. Jalen Hurts, step aside. We got a real quarterback. Holy shit. Sig Lord says, is Hurts the 3rd best passer on the Eagles roster? Passer? No, I think he's a better passer than Pickett. I think he's a better passer than McKee, too. I've seen 4 passes, Sig Lord. What are we talking about here? McKee might have potential, but come on, man. We got to keep a spade a spade. What have we seen? All right? What have we seen? We've seen 4 passes. They were good passes. They look good, but you can't make a judgment like that on 4 passes. Khaled says, this is going to be poetic for Barkley to break the record against the Giants, Eagles, Eagles. Good stuff, brother. Christopher says, the Super Bowl isn't guaranteed. Their record's basically a lock if they give him the opportunity. I wouldn't say that, my dude. He's still 100 yards away. He hasn't rushed for 100 yards every game. I think he's 11 for 16 in games this year, going for over 100. Surgical says, Tanner looks like a starter. Pickett is soft. He's Brady without the arm. I do think Tanner looks better than Pickett. I'll say that. All right, I read that. Lord Lubu, what's up, Lord? He says, if Saquon was drafted by Philly, he would have been a first ballot Hall of Fame player. That I agree with 100%. That I agree with for sure. Brian Pupper says, I'm telling you, fellas, the tenacity of Tanner was unmatched. Looking like a young Peyton, but better. QB1 now. Holy shit, Pump. Pump again. Tanner Delphia has arrived. Pumper, you got some good slogans here. We putting foot to neck on all the Jalenites. Tanner's got the keys. Bald Eagle says he did it last week. He had like 90 in the first quarter. Maybe. Are you talking about first half? Maybe. Anthony Wilson, this fan base sees one game and turn on QB1. They're not turning on quarterback 1. Come on, Anthony. Tanner beats the Falcons, Bucks, and Deadskins. Sit Jalen for the rest of the season. Free McKay. We'll see what they end up doing. John says Jalen threw just as much this season. What's your point? Come on, John. No, he didn't. All right, good stuff, everybody. Great super chats out here today on the show. I appreciate each and every one of you for doing it. I'll send out the link, and after the break, we'll bring a couple of you guys onto the show. I'm going to keep it short and quick. All right, tonight. So I appreciate all of you guys for being here. Hit that like button. We'll be back in 3 minutes on not Birds 365 on the JAKIB Postgame Show here on JAKIB Sports.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, we got this.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Welcome back in, everybody, to the JAKIB Postgame Show here on JAKIB Sports. Philadelphia Eagles get the win today, and they do it in a big way. A big, beautiful way, as some would say. 41-7. They win the game. That's 75-13 over the Cowboys in 2 games this year. But shit, who's counting? All right. Kenny Pickett was 10 of 15 today for 143 and a touchdown, 119 rating. Tanner McKee, 3 of 4, 54 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 156.2 rating. Holy shit, Pumper's going to love that one. Brandon says, Zander, acknowledge McKee's great preseason when you tell us to calm down on McKee. It's not just 4 passes. Brandon, I'm actually in the boat. I mean, I like McKee a lot. I like him a lot more than I like Kenny Pickett. I'll say that. And he did have a good preseason, but you're playing preseason guys. You're not playing with any starters. You're not, it's not the same. It's not the same comp, but I will acknowledge it if you want me to acknowledge it. I will acknowledge it. He did have a good preseason, and he had a good 4 passes today. He had a great 4 passes today. The story is also Saquon Barkley, 31 carries, a season high. You heard John say that. I don't know whether to like that or not like that. 31 carries, 167 yards for Saquon Barkley. Devontae Smith had a big game, 6 catches, 120 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He must have loved it. He must have loved it today. Good game for Devontae Smith. Appreciate all of you guys for being here. I thought that was a great win. Philly Don says, what was the run-pass ratio? Philly Don, I'll tell you in a second. So they had 42 carries in the game, Don, and 19 throws. So 30%, 30-70. Can someone do that math for me? Someone have a calculator? I'm pretty good at mental math, but that's a tough one there. 42 runs, 19 throws. I think you're looking at somewhere 28 to 32% passing the ball, somewhere in there. So definitely a heavily tilted run game today for the Philadelphia Eagles, which was the right move, by the way, coming in. It was the right move coming in to the game, so I have no issue with it. Philadelphia had 4 turnovers on defense, by the way. Two interceptions for C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and then two fumble recoveries. Cooper Rush recovered one, and Jordan Davis recovered the other. So good stuff there for the Philadelphia Eagles defense. They created a lot of turnovers, and that's 9 turnovers they created in 2 weeks. So they are playing good football. Let me send out the link now to join the show, and I'll get to some of our JAKIB members here first. All right, that's the new rule, is the members will be pushed to the front. So if you're a member, I will bring you on first, all right? And I appreciate everybody, by the way. We'll see who joins the show today. And then once you guys are all done, we'll wrap up here on the postgame show. I still have some production here to do. I got the great Bob Brown. Got Joe Whips in there, right on the bench. I think all of you guys are members. Anton joins here. Anton's not a member. Anton, you're pushed to the back. You love to come on here and talk, but you don't want to support the channel. No Limit. There he is. My guy, No Limit, is back. I like talking to No Limit last week. He was a good guy. Clary Voi's in. Our Saquon Barkley jersey winner from last week. All right, we'll be giving away another one. Philly Flyover. I don't know that name, but I'll find him in the chat. All right, let's roll through. Let's get Bob Brown in here. All right, we'll go Bob, Joe, riding the bench, No Limit. All right, and then we'll go Clary Voy. Akbar just joined in. Appreciate you, Akbar. Let's go to Bob Brown now, joining the show. What's going on, Bob? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, pal. How about yourself?
I'm feeling pretty good. We swept the Dallas Cowboys, and we smoked them in both games, Bob. What'd you think of today?
There's not a lot to complain about when you stick it to the Cowboys like you do. Well, a couple things. We always complain that the Eagles start slow. A lot of people put that on, some people put that on Hurts. Hurts wasn't on the field today, and we still got out of the gate very slow.
Yep, I said that.
So I think the one thing you can take away from today's game, that's a coaching issue. They don't prep properly. I made a note of it. They almost seem like they're the smartest guys in the room. We're running Kenny Pickett. They're going to expect us to run with Saquon. Let's come out and throw the ball. Okay? Let's just I like to kiss me, keep it simple, stupid. Just do what you do well. Allow the quarterback to get into a rhythm. Now, took a couple series, but then we hit the ground running and, doesn't hurt that your defense stakes you to a 7-0. Before you even get on the field, you got 7 points, right? Yeah. I will tag into Brian Pumper's little theme here. I believe he will say that Tanner is the McKee to a Super Bowl season. Okay, so he will probably like that one. McKee looked good. I like Pickett. I think you play Hurts next week, at least for a little bit, so there's no rust. I don't think you play Pickett, especially if what you said was right and he's got broken ribs. We know what Kenny Pickett is. And concussions can happen again. And if he goes down, they need to know which quarterback you're bringing off the bench. And as good as Pickett looked today, and it was good, it wasn't great, he looked good. If you have a shot to find McKee and let that happen, then I think he needs every opportunity, at least for the second half next week against the Giants, to show us what he can do. Because we are the one team that has won the Super Bowl with our backup. This should not shock any fans. Next man up is Tanner McKee, Nick Foles. I mean, it's a nice problem to have. Now again,
I'll tell you what, he's big, man. He's 6'6" back there, Bob. I'll tell you what, man.
Well, and you said it also. He looks over the top of his center. He can look over the top of one of his guards. He still can't see over Becton, but he's not with his chin up looking, trying to figure out what the heck is going on. So the middle of the field, the deep third for him is wide open. He can see that. That height is important, especially with our offensive line. Do I want to put the season in the hands of Tanner McKee? No, but I need to know if we have to do that, because let's agree, Jalen Hurts did not learn how to slide this week feet first. And when he's running around, he is going to go head first because that's what he does. So we can't run the risk of him going back in the blue tent. And if he does, we need to know which guy to bring off the bench. And I do agree, both McKee and Pickett fit Moore's system better.
Yeah, I agree.
Than Jalen does. That's why I give more credit, because he changed his system to fit what Jalen does well. Because we had a choice between what? Kenny Pickett and Justin Fields, right? Both young quarterbacks, both first-round quarterbacks. Fields lines up better with Jalen's skill set. But we took McKee because we took Pickett because he fits better with Moore's system. Defense looked really good. I don't disagree with you that I think we saw some of the things that the linebackers do very well. Okay, and Nakobe Dean was not there in the running game. He does have a lot of high energy running around. He does make a lot of tackles, even though some of them are
downhill too, Bob. He gets downhill, man. He
does a great job with the run. He still doesn't cover. I mean, his coverage is whatever, but in the running game, and they ran up the middle on us. So no team has really done that on us all year. What's the one difference is Nakobe wasn't in there. But our defense looked good. We got turnovers. Watching CJ continue to steal picks from Quinyon is, I think at a certain point he's got to take him to dinner.
Quinyon was catching that. Quinyon has not proven to me that he would have caught that ball, Bob.
Well, that's the second one. And let's say this: if he dropped it, then nobody can complain. Then he's a good cover guy. He just can't intercept the ball. And in Philadelphia, we'll find something to complain about. The backup quarterback is always the best guy on the team. I watched Jaworski play. And in the 700 level, they were screaming when he had a bad series, take out that Pollock and put in the other Pollock, because we had Joe Pisarcik from the Giants was our backup quarterback. Everybody thinks the backup quarterback is going to take you to the promised land. We're the only team to do it. So, it was you can't complain. And again, like you said, sticking it at the Cowboys the way we've done it this season, all it does right now is it makes this game it doesn't matter how good we're playing. if we don't come out and do the right thing in the playoffs, this whole season is for nothing. This will be worse than last year's 10-1 and then getting knocked out.
Yeah, because the expectations
we need to close the deal. There's no excuses. And again, 2 catches. We're 2 drop balls away from being 15-1 also.
Yeah, but there's some other factors too on the other side of that where we could have lost.
There's absolute factors. Things happen. We're not a 15-1 team. Okay, we're not, but we're playing really well, and what we do well, we do exceptionally well, and the teams know it's coming and they can't stop us. And I think Barkley next week, I think we run him heavy in the first half and get him out. I don't disagree about not playing him in the second half, but if he's inside 25 yards, I may give him the first series in the second half because there's something poetic about being able to thank the Giants for a Super Bowl season when they gave away. Didn't even trade him. You didn't want anything for him. You just wanted to give him away and didn't offer him a contract. There has to be heads rolling for this.
Yep, absolutely. Bob, thanks for joining, brother. I appreciate you doing it today. And I'll talk to you next week. Hopefully we can close this thing up and get it. I'm ready for the playoffs, Bob. This is going to be another snoozer week. I'm ready for the playoffs.
Well, there's a couple things. You just watch for the players that may have to step in because depth is going to be an issue. We do have injuries. So it's just a depth thing. And Saquon and Smitty and AJ have to come out of this healthy.
I think they will. But you're right. You're not wrong about that. Bob, thanks for joining, brother.
You got it, brother. Have a good one.
You too, man. Merry Christmas to you. Good stuff there from Bob Brown. And by the way, I didn't say this. I hope everybody had an amazing Christmas. Hope everybody had an amazing Christmas. If you're Jewish, I hope you had an amazing Hanukkah. If you celebrate anything else, I hope you had an amazing time with your family. Whatever it is you celebrate, whatever God you pray to, I appreciate your support of this channel. So thank you guys, and I hope you all had an awesome, awesome holiday week like I did. I had a great holiday week. Let's go to my man Joe Whipp joining me now, and then I'll go to Akbar next. Joe, what's going on, my friend? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Zander?
I'm doing good, man. We moved to 13-3 on the year. We crushed the Dallas Cowboys today. What'd you see out there? What'd you like? What'd you not like?
Well, first of all, hopefully, if everything goes to plan, next week and I join the post-game show, there'll be a golf course behind me.
Be in Florida.
Yeah, we're heading to Florida.
Nice.
So, yeah, well.
Now, if the Eagles would go to the Super Bowl, I don't want to put bad juju.
Oh, I'm going to be up here, Zander.
Okay. I was going to ask, are you going to be flying home or what?
Well, I haven't told you this story, but when they won the Super Bowl in 2017, I was in Mumbai, India.
Oh, wow.
Watching it on my laptop, paying $10 to the NFL.
So all these years you've been an Eagles fan and you watched their only Super Bowl from India.
I was in Mumbai.
Holy shit.
So I knew that, so I missed the parade. So
I was in college, so I was at Alabama. I remember watching it with all the boys at Alabama. I wasn't at the parade either, though. My whole family was there.
Yeah, but people used to say to me back then, "Oh, Wentz got injured, we're screwed." And I would say, "No, they're going to win the Super Bowl." And they would say, "Why are you so certain?"
I thought we were screwed.
No, they said, "Why are you so certain?" I said, "I'm going to be in Mumbai. Of course, they're going to win it when I'm in India." So, hopefully that's. No, I'll be here for the Super Bowl. I came up from Florida for the Super Bowl in 2022, so no way I'm going to miss another one.
Yeah, hopefully they get there this year. All right, Joe.
So
Tanner McKee or Kenny Pickett as your backup in the playoffs? Who you taking?
I love Tanner Brady. Screw Tanner Manning. Tanner Brady, baby.
Both 6-rounders. Wasn't Tanner a 6-rounder?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And look at the size of him. His hands are about twice as big as Kenny Pickett's hands.
Small hands.
Yeah, and he's got a better arm. So I've always been a fan of Tanner McKee.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Yeah, I like what I see from him.
Yeah, overall, are you feeling pretty good going into the playoffs? Now we're kind of in that mode where we locked up the second seed, locked up the NFC East. My sights are set on the playoffs. You feeling pretty good about where this team is going into that playoff run?
Yeah, today the only thing, I wish it was a 55 points instead of 41. You know how I hate the Cowboys. I mean, if I could score 60 on them, I'd score 60 on them.
Yeah. Reyes was almost right today. He normally says 52-6. He was close. Reyes, you were close.
The only thing that gives me pause Two things. The first thing is they're a little leaky on the run, defending the run.
They were certainly today without Nakobe Dean.
Yeah, and they were not disciplined in their rushing lanes against Washington, so they let Daniels get run all over the place on fourth down. So that's a little bit of a concern. I mean, that's fixable. I think they clearly missed Dean today. And when the season started, I never thought I'd say they missed Dean today.
True.
So, I mean, that's been, or Nolan Smith. So kudos to them. And the only other issue is the slow starts. I don't know what the hell they were. I don't know what they were trying to do in the first quarter.
Yeah, I don't know what's up.
I couldn't figure that out for the life of me. And I think the patterns, their plays are too predictable. They go back to the same stuff too often without any little changes. And so I just think the other teams know what's coming.
Yeah.
So
clearly, it's not working.
So when they started changing the routes and whatnot, then all of a sudden they started to move the ball. So to me, that's they're the only two things, and I don't know how they're going to fix the offensive scheme this late in the season, but they need to.
There's no fixing it now, Joe.
No, they need to be a little more creative in how they're in what they're doing. But I've been watching this Minnesota Green Bay game. I'm sorry, but Jordan Love doesn't blow my socks off.
No, he doesn't yet for me. I think he's got potential, but he hasn't quite put it all together yet.
No, Sam Darnold is a better quarterback, and there's no way in hell if I was Minnesota, I had this discussion in the chat with Dash today. There's no way in hell I don't sign Sam Darnold.
I know.
Over J.J. McCarthy.
I know. I'm
so
so with you on that.
I do want to send out congratulations, though, to the New York Giants for the worst organization in football. Only they can win. Only they can lose when they win.
Yeah. Did you hear me give you a shout out earlier on the show for that? Yeah.
I couldn't believe that oh my God. That's like, if I was a New York Giants fan, I'd be jumping.
Shane Steichen should be embarrassed. He should be embarrassed.
Hey,
you give up 45 to Drew Lock and the Giants. Come on, dude.
He may be the next offensive coordinator for the Eagles.
Oh my gosh.
I could see him.
You might not be wrong, especially with that wild card owner over there in Indianapolis.
I know. I don't know what Jalen's going to do. Jalen bought his house. I don't think he's going to give it back.
Yeah, really. All right, Joe. I appreciate you joining in, man. Wait, one more question. Are you playing the starters next week or what?
Well, it depends. If they have no chance at the number 1 seed, I wouldn't play Hurts next week at all.
Right.
And I would probably play Tanner McKee. And let Barkley run a quarter or so. 2 70-yard runs, and that's it. Get him out of there.
I know. I just thought, yeah. I know it sounds too good to be true. We'll see what they end up doing. Joe, thanks for joining, brother. I'll talk to you next week. All right, man.
Thanks, Zander.
All right, good stuff, Joe. Appreciate Joe joining me here on the show. Let's get to Akbar coming up next. I see my man, the Bonehead, is in here. Our Jerome Brown winner. What's up, Bonehead? I love Bonehead, man. Bonehead, I got your video on Instagram, man. That was cool. I appreciated you sending that, by the way. You added some good context to it. So thank you for doing that, my friend. Thank you for doing that. Let's keep going here. Let's get to Akbar coming up on the show. What's going on, Akbar?
Zach the man, what's up, baby? What's up with you?
Not much, man. Feeling pretty good. You swept the Cowboys. We're 13-3. You dominated them today, man. What'd you see out there?
First, I'm gonna say that when coming into this game, I was like, it's gonna be a bullshit game, right? Like Cooper Rush. Even had somebody in the chat say Cooper Flush. Like they been coming up with some good shit all night. Motherfucking Brian Pumper, Bob Brown kicked it off. I don't know why he think that he piggybacking off a pump. He had the first liner tonight. But yeah, like a lot of cats saying a lot of good shit. What was the question again?
Just what you saw out there, man. We destroyed the Cowboys with 2 backup quarterbacks. What were your takeaways from watching that thing?
It was really good seeing them do that, regardless of the circumstances and all the predicaments that was flying around. It was great to see them beat the shit out of the Cowboys. I enjoyed watching CJ, GJ, Mawson, Brandon Cooks. When do you see a a cornerback mossing a receiver. He mossed him. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
That was a moss right there, right? So, I don't know. I made a tweet out saying that, this game has made him a Pro Bowler, but after thinking about it, I don't think he quite there yet because he probably gave up almost just as many touchdowns as he had interceptions this year. I didn't really like seeing him in the end zone in particular this year. The boy Oren Burks, he played well. However, you had a great take as far as Nakobe Dean not being in and how the run defense had looked different. I agree with that. I think that's a good take. However,
what do you think of the quarterbacks, McKee and Pickett?
Awesome question. I've been sitting here for the past hour thinking about how to answer that question. I'm not really. First, I'm gonna say that I'm not going back out on Hurts just yet.
I'm not out on her. Yeah, I'm not either. No way.
Yeah,
you don't get to this far, Akbar. I don't know how you were raised, but I don't get to this far and pull the plug. It's just not how I roll.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, right.
Like the bull, like Tanner McKee is it motherfucking Brian Pump. Shout out to Pump. Salute, dog. Yo, the bull. We was talking Tanner Delphia, Tanner Saurus.
Yeah, he had some good ones.
He had some good ones tonight. Yo, the bull and his own. He threw 2 touchdowns with 4 passes.
I know.
2 touchdowns with 4 passes. We seen
and the incompletion was the pass to AJ that he caught with one hand.
That
was the only incompletion he had.
So then you see you look at how Devontae Smith, he hit him coming across the middle from the right hand side. We usually see AJ doing that mostly from the left side, from the right side too. But we hardly ever seen that kind of play with Devontae slanting in from the right side to the middle of the field, and he cashed in on that. Like at that point of the game, I was saying it'd be cool if we get 3 points by halftime, and lo and behold, they scored a touchdown. I didn't catch the replay. Maybe you could fill me in on a replay of the catch from Devontae, 1 yard from the goal line. What happened there? Was that, to me, from looking at it, like, on cue, to me that looked like what's the ball from the Cowboys?
He was down. Booth, Andrew Booth.
No. Remember the ball from the Cowboys? He caught that pass like almost just like that against Green Bay Packers, and they called it not a catch. It was the not a catch game.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You probably didn't see it. Anyway, they had this wide receiver they used to play with, Tony Romo. They got him off the team when my man Dak came on board. But anyway, yeah, what did you think of that pass? Did you think that was a touchdown or no?
It looked like he was down to me. I mean, I wanted him to get in, but Booth got his hand on him at the right time, and he went down ultimately. But I thought it was a great throw, and love to see Devontae Smith getting the ball a little bit.
This is what I wanted to ask another question. Is it more important how you start, or is it more important how you finish?
It's a good question. I think it depends your style of play. And, with that, I would say when you start slow, based on the way the Eagles are built, specifically with Jalen Hurts, is that they've been such a run-heavy team. I don't think you want to get out behind. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be harder to pass, get back into the game. Let's just say you play the Lions and they score 14 points in the first quarter and you got a goose egg on the board. That's going to be hard to overcome. And I think in that situation, you want to start fast. But overall, probably closing out is better, right? I mean, you see how much.
Hold that thought. Time out. Hold that thought. Because what you're saying, and not just you saying it, but from what I'm hearing, it kind of undermines the defense in a way, don't you think? Because okay, the offense is not scoring at an alarming rate on the first couple series of the game, okay, but the defense is doing what? Like nobody's scoring either. You know what I'm saying? what they had 7 points all game. They scored them 7 points in the first quarter. So you might want to say that they started out pretty good. I mean, we've seen a lot of quarterbacks start out pretty good, but how do they end up at the end of the game? They mostly end up less than 20 points in the game. So when you're saying that the offense needs to start off early, I mean, you also got to, add in the fact that the defense is starting off early. They're not letting cats. I mean, I understand what you're saying. You don't want to see cats, get a 10, 14 point lead and we still try and run the ball. But we haven't seen that happen all season. So, I mean, it'll be an outlier. Like last week was an outlier and something that needed to happen. Like they needed some clarity. They needed a reboot. They needed something to think about. And it was good that it happened. Like I said, last week opposed to happening in the playoffs. You don't want to see that happen in the playoffs. To me, the O-line looked a little bit lethargic starting off the game. That was more concerning to me than anything besides scoring. I think they kind of had to warm up. They didn't look like they were run blocking well for Saquon in that first quarter. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but it looked like they was missing blocks. And I'm going for the record, dog. Fuck all that about. See, I was trying to do a show without swearing, but fuck all.
Not happening, Akbar. Not happening.
Fuck all that about the Super Bowl. Fuck the season. Fuck the accolades, man. Fuck that shit. That's dumb talk. I could see if the Bull had like 200 plus yards, or even just 200 yards. He only got 101 yards to go to break the record. You don't want to see that in one game against the Giants, the team that fleed him. This the team that fleed him. Said, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? And we took him. And now the Bull is at the cusp of breaking Eric Dickerson, one of the top 10 running backs of all motherfucking time, possibly win a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Could get Super Bowl. Like this is a tailor-made storied season for Saquon Barkley. Like, who says he can't make it to Canton? Like, if he could do this one more year, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to go back to back, but I seen Denver do it with TD. I don't know if you ever heard of Terrell Davis. You know what I mean? He made it to the
I remember Terrell Davis. What was he, 80s? Was he late 80s or 70s?
No, he was 90s.
90s? I thought he had the big year in 80. Was it 89?
It was 90s.
I forget what year he hit 2,000 yards.
I don't remember either, but I know that when they had him, they went back to back. They went to the Super Bowl.
90s. He was 1998, Akbar. He had 2,000 yards.
Yeah, that boy was tough. He was tough. Oh, he had $2,000 too?
Yeah, he's one of the 9 that had $2,000.
He only had about 3 great seasons, though. He stopped playing ball because of migraines and shit, and he still made it to Canton. And so, who's to say that the top all-time leading rusher in a season who won a Super? I ain't gonna say we won a Super Bowl yet. I'm not gonna say that yet, but I'm ready for it, man. I'm ready for it. I ain't scared of the Packers, like my man Flex. He been talking about the Packers. I'm like, no, dog. I told him, I said, in my opinion, Minnesota defense is better than the Packers defense. And so far, right now, that's showing up. The Green Bay scored 3 points in 3 quarters.
Minnesota's winning 20-3 right now, brother.
See, I missed the touchdown. But yeah, so like, I mean, I'm the guy that was proclaiming for Minnesota a few weeks back when they beat Arizona at the end of the game. They were supposed to lose that game, but they showed me some resiliency and they can get it done. So I'm more, I ain't gonna say scared, but I'm more mindful of what's going on in Minnesota, even more so than Detroit. I don't think Detroit is tough, right? But I haven't agreed with Sills in like the last 2 months, but I do agree when he says that Detroit is more like they more softer than us.
They not soft, bro. I'm sorry.
They softer. They're soft. That's why I changed it. They're softer than us. Them dudes
I don't even know about that.
Philly is mean. You don't know about that. Did you see last week?
The city of Philly is mean. That doesn't mean the football team is.
Do you see Jalen Carter?
Most times teams take on the personality of their coach.
Yeah.
Nick Sirianni is much softer than Dan Campbell, and I think that shows up on the field. I'm not saying that to knock the Eagles, but I wouldn't criticize the Lions by saying they're soft. That would not be my word to criticize.
Let me ask you again. I want to hear you. I want to confirm. We would like to confirm what Zander Krause just said about the Philadelphia Eagles taking shape of the coach, and Nick Sirianni is softer than Dan Campbell, his name is. Okay, so saying that, you're just going to scratch out Mitchell jumping the Slade's side when he's getting pushed in the way back of the end zone and he's sucker punching players. You just can't. Did you see Sidney Brown slam dunk the dude on side of the field? GJ got kicked out of the game. Like, these dudes are assholes on the field and off the field. Jalen Carter constantly beating people upside the head.
Fine. I'm not saying that to take away from the Eagles. I'm saying that my knock on the Lions wouldn't be I think they're soft. I just don't. I don't see that.
I don't think that they're soft. I think they're not as. I don't think they're as tough. Philly is on some beat you up shit, man. Like, I wanted Turpin to get a body bag today. He pissed me off when he was running his mouth on the field. I thought they should have fucked him up real bad. He weighed like 125, soaking wet. I wanted him to body boy. I wanted to give him a toe tag for real. But he got away. They wound up bodying Pickett, which I'm on board with. To me, Pickett hold on to the ball just as long as Jalen, and he's not a playmaker. You know what I mean? That's concerning to me. I don't like how long he holds the ball.
I don't dislike Pickett, but I'm not like high on him.
Man, please, you can't stand. Listen, you gave me a 60-second soliloquy last week on how you couldn't stand this motherfucker. It was epic. It was fucking awesome. It was fucking classic. That shit was funny as hell. You're not gonna tell me now.
Well, I think the player has ultimately proven a little bit more than I was giving him credit for. I'm not saying I love him, but I'm saying, hey, maybe I take him off the Flickett list and I put him back on the Pickett list. He can get his name, all right?
Okay. We for this week anyway. But I am liking. I'm kind of on board with the chat is saying, like, as far as Tanner McKee, as far as like how he looked in preseason. I thought he looked really good in preseason. Mind you, he's playing with third stringers and shit like that, but his offense is also third stringers. So we seen him play with a first string offense today. The ball looked really, really for 4 passes, man. What was the word in the chat? What did he say? Something about four glorious passes.
Yeah, something like that. 4 glorious. Yeah, that might have been it. 4 glorious passes.
Yeah, that shit was real. Like, I mean, he looked real. He looked sturdy in a pocket. He looked like he know where he could go, where he going. He got a gun for an arm, and he got to wait his turn, right? He got to wait his turn.
Yeah. All right, I got to run, brother. You got any final thoughts here on the game? I'm a little behind here. I got to move.
Not really. Just everybody holler at me on the X platform. You know what I mean? Akbar the Star. You know what I mean? I'll be having some takes on boxing. You know what I'm saying? Football. I'm not sure if I'm going to be getting back into the NBA. I may. Seems as though the Sixers been winning, as of late. So I may be giving my takes on that, and also other shit I be talking about. You know what I mean? They don't got nothing to do with football. Like, I just speak my mind and create conversation. So y'all can check me out on there. And Zane, you have a good night, homie. Hope you had a good holidays with your family and all that. That's too, a fly ass hat you got on. I'm feeling that jump. You know what I'm saying?
Black and the green, man, for the win today. I like it. All right, brother. I appreciate it, bro.
All right.
See you, man. Good stuff from Akbar. Joining me here. I got No Limit. I got Clairvoy riding the bench. Jeff Bone, the Bonehead, Abe, and then Anton. All right. No Limit coming to you next. There he is. What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
My mic working? My mic working this time?
It sounds good, bro. How you feeling after that win, man? 41-7. That's a beatdown.
I'm feeling great after that win. To basically just cut this shit short, what I'm about to say. Look, I'm sounding like Big Pumper. Yo, Tanner McKee. I was saying this before Big Pump, though. I ain't gonna lie. Tanner McKee, he really is a different breed. And I know I'm saying a lot off of 4 passes. I'm not trying to say like he did the most or did everything. But look, anybody who's ever watched Tanner McKee's film, it shows that he's a natural pocket passer, right?
He definitely is that, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's way more natural than Kenny Pickett, where Kenny Pickett, like Eck was just saying, he holds on to the ball a lot more and he's more timid with his throws. Unless somebody's running wide open, Kenny isn't going to be confident in them throws. That's why whenever he tries to be too confident, he throws picks. And I'm not even trying to bash Kenny because Kenny had a good game today. He actually earned some respect from me, honestly, off of the performance that he had today. But, yeah, basically to talk on the quarterbacks, this week, I think Jalen should probably try to play a quarter or 2 if he can, because I don't know, like you and Big Sills was talking about earlier today, I don't like him just not playing 3 weeks of football and then we're gonna have him go into the playoffs, and I don't even want to see that happen because it's not gonna really end well. So I like to see that. I am for Saquon going for the record, only because if he don't get it this year, that record's probably gonna it's probably gonna stand for like 5 more years after this. Because I don't see any other running back really that's gonna have a line. What running back do you think is gonna have a line like
I'm saying way longer than 5. When did Dickerson set that record?
90, it was early 90s. It had to be somewhere around there. But
I'll tell you in a second. 1984, brother.
God damn. Yeah, that shit.
About 40 years, man. 40 years.
10
5
more years.
I had that shit for maybe another 40.
Nah, you right. Nah. Now you're doing too much, bro. Now you're doing too much. It's gonna be eventually us or the Ravens or some powerhouse running team that's gonna get it eventually.
Maybe.
But if we don't get it this year, I don't see anybody getting it for at least 10 years. But to switch topics, I hope everybody sees the difference in this week's game and last week's game is translating turnovers to touchdowns.
Yes.
And not fucking field goals and 3 and outs and shit.
That's
like
a great take, Nolan.
Like, I swear, and that's something that people need to look more into, because last week we're talking about the defense. Did the defense have a good game? They gave up 36 points and all this. I'm over here like, it's 5 fucking turnovers. What are you talking about? And then this week, 4 turnovers, and you see how easy we were scoring. To go back to
that's a great take. I didn't even mention that. That's a good takeaway. That was maybe the biggest difference between last week's 5 turnovers and this week's 4 turnovers. I don't know what the numbers were, but I know they scored off a couple of those turnovers.
That's what I'm saying. Another thing to move forward about the quarterbacks. All right, so my biggest concern about Tanner, right? I like how he's 6'6". He's able to look over the offensive line. He's very good at basically like quick with his throws. He's not going to hold on the ball too much, and he has natural like passing ability. But the biggest factor is that he has the least amount of mobility out of the 3 quarterbacks. And running wise, we're going to see down the line how that really, really affects us. I feel like today the passing game opened up earlier than the running game because Saquon was struggling, I think, in like the first quarter.
Yeah, he only had 40 yards in the first half.
Yeah.
On like 14 carries. It was like 3 yards per carry.
Once the passing game popped off, that's when Saquon started eating again. But there's going to be a day that we're not really like doing anything passing wise, and we're going to have to start running the ball. And if we're not able to run the ball efficiently and actually like impose our will with Tanner McKee being behind our line, because I'm not going to act like Tanner McKee is going to be our quarterback for a long time. But I'm just saying, like, if we are ever to get into them situations where he's going to have to be our quarterback, That's the only thing I really want to see. I want to see more of his awareness outside of the pocket. I want to see him more actually inside of the pocket too, because 4 passes isn't going to do much for anybody. But shit, I will say what Big Pump say? I'm a McKeister.
Are you a McKeister?
Yeah, I'm a McKeister. I ain't gonna lie. I really like what I see from him. I'm a Jalen Hurts fan too, but
are you a Jalenite and a McKeister? Are you allowed to be both?
Yeah, I'm both. Shit, whatever makes the Eagles win.
That's
really
what I
care.
am. How about that? I'm an Eagle-ite. Yeah, I like that. All right, brother. I appreciate you joining, man.
No problem.
Thank you, man. Oh, sorry, I cut you off. I didn't mean to cut you off, bro. I thought you were done yapping to me. I got one other guy who dropped out. I don't know what the hell's going on. There he is. He's back in here. Flyover, you ready? I'm coming to you, man. Here we go. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? Huge fan. How's it going?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that really a lot, man. Good to talk to you. First time having you on the show, brother. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. You know, it's always good blowing out Dallas. You know,
yes,
it's always
it is. 41-7, man. What were your key takeaways from the game?
Honestly, my key takeaways, I know it was just 4 plays or however the case, but the quickness, the decisiveness. I mean, I think, you know, in terms of that, because I heard you asking everybody else, like, you know, Kenny Pickett versus Tanner McKee. You know, in terms of that, you know, I mean, I like Tanner McKee's quickness and whatnot. It was his first NFL game.
Yeah.
John McMullen, he was saying it. A lot of other content creators for the Philadelphia Eagles were saying, "Oh, he's never seen an NFL field like on like you know like legit you know NFL competition."
Yep.
You know, and all things considered, I mean, he delivered. I mean, you know, what was it, like 3 out of 5, 3 out of 4 passes? You know, got to see more consistency.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But the whole Tanner, Brady, Tanner, whatever the case, you know,
Tanner
it's catching
Manning,
all
Tanner
that.
Brady.
Yeah, it's catching all that, or however the case. But you know, hypothetically, you know, let them take us to a Super Bowl first and things of that nature and produce better results, or however the case. But I like him more as a backup than I do Kenny Pickett. But yeah, and then other big takeaway, the defensive mentality. I know versus Washington, you know, 22 points in the 4th quarter. I do know CJ getting ejected, that didn't help, or however the case, but it did seem like in the second half, like they found like the happy medium of aggression and not too much to get fouled, seems like. I haven't seen like a lot of content creators point that out, or however the case. So like it seems like in the second half they were finding the happy medium, so they didn't get a call for a lot of penalties, but at the same time still had just enough aggression to get the job done and things of that nature.
Good stuff, man. I appreciate that. By the way, I'm looking at, and you can deny my request right now, all right? But you got a nice eagle thing on the wall back there. You got the flag. Are you in like a little eagle man cave? What's going on over there?
Oh yeah.
You want to show off your man cave to the people or what?
Yeah, I'll what do you call it? I'll like do like
eagle shit everywhere over here.
Yeah, on this wall I have like my favorite players and whatnot. Brandon Graham.
You got Hurts, you got Brown, you got PG.
And then in the gold ones I have Zach Bond and Jalen Carter, however the case. And then I am a Jalenite. I fully.
You're a Jalenite. You got more Jalen stuff on the wall than I have at all. You're a Jalenite, my friend.
Yeah. And then I got the good old Nick Foles rookie card, Michael Vick, Jason Kelce, Brandon Graham, and then Quignon and Cooper Rush, and then Devontae Smith, his rookie card. And yeah, I bleed green. You know, like I'm not a player fan, but you know, like Jalen Hurts off the field, you know, he's respectable. I haven't heard of any scandals and things of that nature. And on the field, he is a winner. You know, people can have their controversies, but I mean, he does produce wins. The only thing that's questionable is a Super Bowl win. Once he does that, I mean, I don't think anyone will be able to say anything about Jalen. I mean, it's super hard to win that one big game.
You're gonna have like 14 Jalen fatheads on that wall if he wins a title.
Yeah, I might. I don't know, but I do have one question for you though.
All right, hit me.
I respect your opinion and whatnot, or however the case. Like you know, like I don't know what makes somebody an expert or however the case, but you know, in my opinion, you're a football expert and things of that nature. So, in your opinion, where would you rank based on like what we've seen today? You know, like the development of Tanner McKee and Jalen Hurts, things of that nature. I know there's different coordinators and all that, or however the case. I guess it's just like a rough estimate question or a rough baseball park estimate.
Estimate on what?
on just like the general improvements or however the case, based on because everyone says how we can't improve quarterbacks and things of that nature.
Okay.
And all we can do is sign quarterbacks or however. And McKee, it looks like he was developed, he's developing and things of that nature. Not a starter, not a franchise guy yet. But
McKee was definitely a polished passer. Now I can speak on Jalen Hurts even more so. I don't know if you've heard my story. I was at Jalen Hurts' first ever game in college, and it was in Dallas, in Jerry's World. The Alabama it was a neutral field. They took on USC. He couldn't pass the ball. We didn't pass. Alabama didn't really pass with Jalen Hurts. So his development in the passing game is insane. People still have questions, obviously, which is fair. It's fine, but he's developed so much since he's come to Philly. Almost like a crazy amount. And I think Tanner looked pretty good. I mean, that's his first NFL action, but it certainly looks like these guys are developing here in Philly. I don't have any issue with that. I don't think we have any issue. I think maybe if Jalen had a bad year this year, you'd start to look and say, well, Carson Wentz fell off. Now then I think you'd have some issues.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're headed down that route.
Heck yeah.
All right, brother. I appreciate you joining in, man. It's great talking with you, and thanks for being a member and a supporter of JAKIB.
Heck yeah. God bless. Hope you had a great, well, you already said you did, but you already know. Hope you had a great holiday and all that. Thanks for having me on, and God bless. Hope you have a great rest of your day and whatnot.
Heck yeah. God bless you, man. Thank you, brother. That's good stuff there from Philly Flyover joining the show. I love getting a new name. All right. Anytime we get a new name in talking on the show, we love it. All right. We love it. Got a couple more here. I got Bonehead. Bonehead, you ready, Bonehead? There he is, my main man. Bonehead. What's up, Bonehead?
Hey,
brother.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me okay?
I got you, man. You look good. You sound good. You feeling fresh, you Bonehead?
Yeah. It's always nice seeing that was
jersey with a fresh Jerome Brown jersey.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, that was so awesome. That's like seeing titties for the first time in my life. Dude. You don't know how good that felt.
Bonehead, everybody was saying you said fuck Sills. I'm like, he absolutely said fuck Sills. I want that Jerome Brown jersey, man. I can't blame you, brher. What'd you think? Man?
Oh man, the game was exciting. I don't think I've seen a game where it's like we blown out somebody 41-7 all season long. So that really felt good to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you think of McKee Pickett? The whole little the discussion about the backups. What do you think?
They did what they supposed to do. Somebody in the locker room told them, like, dude, you fucked this up, I'm gonna whoop your ass. And they said, oh, I'll whoop my ass. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and play then.
All right, I like that. That's a good take. They did what they were supposed to do. Now, if playoffs, though, you still like Pickett as your backup? You go with that, or you want to make McKee the backup?
In the playoffs? Oh, no, I'm right with Hurts, man.
No, Hurts is the starter. Come on.
Oh, shit, nah. We talking about all right, Kenny Pickett going to be QB2. Tanner McKee, QB3. You know, we just keep it as is.
Yeah, all right, I like that. All right,
yeah, definitely.
Defense played good today. 4 turnovers today. What'd you think of them?
It was fun to see. Knowing that N'Kobe Dean wasn't in the lineup, but one thing that I've noticed, and I've been noticing for weeks, is Nolan Smith is a stud.
Yeah.
And we didn't see it last season, but Nolan Smith is a stud. He's playing like that first rounder. You know what I mean?
I tweeted that out during the game, man. I agree.
Yeah, Nolan Smith heard Big Sills talking shit about him. He was like, you know what? I got you. Strip sack.
All right, brother. Good stuff, man. I appreciate you joining in. Congrats on winning the jersey, and thank you for being a member and a supporter of this channel, man. It means a lot to me.
Yeah, hey, Zander, nice hat, man.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. Good stuff, Bonehead. I'll talk to you again soon. All right, man?
Yes, sir.
All right, good stuff. I love Bonehead. He's a funny-ass dude. He sent me, so after he dissed Sileo last week, all right, remember I gave the giveaway. I'm like, if you win, you can give it to Sileo. I'll still send you a jersey. I was offering Bonehead another jersey, and he said, man, fuck Sileo. Fuck Sileo, man. I'm taking that Jerome Brown jersey. And then he sent me a great message on Instagram, which made me feel good because he's like, yo, holidays can be tough around here. And this is really, really meaningful. So I was super pumped for my main man, Bonehead. Good stuff, Bonehead. Thanks for joining, brother. A couple more people. I got Clary Voy riding the bench and Abe and then Anton coming to all of you guys coming up next. Let's go to Clary Voy now, winner of the Saquon jersey last week. Holy shit, it's dark. I can barely see it. But
oh, man. Dude, I'm sorry about that, man. My laptop, my gaming laptop, it took a shit, so
is that what that is? Your setup? Is it a gaming setup?
I have a gaming setup, but yeah, I'm on the Mac. I'm on the Mac right now.
When you were joining, so I knew you were joining from something.
Yeah, I'm on a Mac now, and yeah, that's all I can say.
What'd you think of the game today, man? They crushed it. What was it?
It was nice. Yeah, it was nice. Oh, I'm in the cabin, Anton. Don't worry. Look, see. But what's it called? Man, the game was nice, dude. It was nice. I'm so happy that we ended up winning twice like this, like just blowing them out. Nice,
Yeah. 75-13, bro, in 2 games. That feels good.
It feels great. And what has it been? Something like, was it 13, 18 years that we've done that where we beat them 2-0?
We haven't swept the Dallas Cowboys since like 2011.
03, 04? Yeah. Oh, wow.
No, since 11, but only once in 18 years. So it's been a while.
Dude, that's crazy in itself, and then, us losing last week, it sucks, man, but we're about to play them again, most likely, What are the chances of beating someone 3 times in a row? So I might as well just, lose it earlier in the season, kind of get that L out of the way. But, man, it was nice that the defense, really my issues are still the offense, man. Just like that first quarter, like, what the hell are we doing? Like, we got a backup in, a guy with small hands that can't throw the ball, and we're going against a defense that can't stop the run, and we have a running back that's about to beat, Dickerson's record if we give him the ball and we pass the ball. That shit makes no sense to me.
Agreed. What do you think of the backups? Are you in the McKee? Are you a McKeester?
Dude, I think McKee was better in playoffs. Or not playoffs, I'm sorry, preseason. I thought McKee was like, we should have traded Pickett, get the hell rid of him, well, try to get something from him, more than what we got.
In the chat, he looked really good in the offseason. He did, but it's not playing versus starters. I thought today was more meaningful.
Man, so there's certain things that the eye can see, right? Pickett, he threw a nice ball today, but he normally does not throw a nice ball, And dude, McKee throws some nice balls, dude. Like those ones that were pause. I'm gonna have to pause right there, all right?
You're gonna have to pause. You're gonna have to pause on that one.
I you know what? But man, he throws some nice balls, and like you saw the one to AJ Brown, the one like dude, like those are even throws that Hurts doesn't throw. Let's be honest. Like Hurts back shoulder, they're usually way behind and they have to stop, and the wide receiver is the reason they're catching that. That ball, that wasn't the case, and it's nice to see it, man. I'm excited for hopefully the potential that, if Hurts don't work out, we have someone on a rookie contract.
Yep,
that's how I kind of, because I'm not a Hurts lover.
No,
I think Hurts is a winner. I think Hurts is a winner. I think he's Tim Tebow. That's the issue.
We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. Thank you for joining in today, brother. I'll talk to you again soon. All right, man. Congrats, by the way, on your Saquon Barkley jersey win.
Dude, I appreciate it, man. It's been I hope you had a Merry Christmas and with your fiance and your family and all that, man. It's crazy this time of year.
That's fine. Yeah, I got a good girlfriend.
Girlfriend, fiance.
Good.
Dude, why do you think we won the way we did today? I always talk to you about what you're wearing, right?
Yeah, she got me this nice. This is a nice, it's a golf company. I forget what this company's called right now.
She gets you a flat top too?
No, I buy these myself. I buy these myself.
Man, look at you looking fly, dude.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
All
right, I'll talk to you again. I'll talk to you again soon, all right, bro?
You got to wear that all through the playoffs. You know that, right?
I got a bunch of them. I got a victory one that I can wear tomorrow. I teased my victory one last week, and then the Eagles decided to shit the bed versus the Commanders, so I couldn't wear it. So I got that for tomorrow.
So if you teased it, that means it's bad juju. You know that, right?
No, I don't believe in that shit. All right, I'm a man of God. I believe in Jesus Christ. I don't believe in superstitions, juju, none of that bullshit. All right. But
so what about coincidences that happen consistently? when you wear the JAKIB gear, certain JAKIB gear, we do really well. When you don't wear the JAKIB gear and you're wearing like the polo, we barely win or we lose.
This is a new piece
After
of
how-
JAKIB gear, though. This is a new.
Yeah,
this is
I hear
fresh.
you,
I got this for
but it's-
Christmas. This was hand delivered on Christmas by Santa Claus.
I hear, I hear you, man. But before that, I can only go off of previous things. So
That's true.
when we get into the coincidences, when does it no longer become a coincidence and it becomes the Maloik or it becomes the superstition? You're a man of God, so I'm
I'll let
asking.
you decide that, and you let me know. All right.
Dude, it's your world. I just live in it.
Good stuff. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
All right, man. Later.
All right, see. Good stuff from Clary Void joining the show. Won the Saquon jersey last week. Great member here on JAKIB. I appreciate that. Got a couple more people to get to. Riding the bench coming to you next. Here we go. What's up, my man? How you doing?
What's up, Primetime? How you doing, bro? You
I'm
good?
doing good, man. We crushed the Cowboys. It's hard to not be good today, right? 41-7. What'd you think of the game?
We did what we had to do. They're the Cowboys. Like this year, they're not good. They're not good. We did what we had to do.
I was a little worried for a second that this game could turn into like an NFC game, NFC East game that got close, but that never ended up happening. What do you think of the backup debate? You like McKee? You like Pickett? Where you at?
So it's funny because I do a podcast, and a buddy of mine does a Colts podcast. And 2 years ago, when they were drafting quarterbacks, the CJ Stroud class, he ranked Tanner McKee as the second best quarterback in that draft class. So I watched a lot of McKee film. I love this guy. I think this guy is truly better than Kenny Pickett.
You're a McKeester.
Better in the pocket. I think he's all that. Everyone.
You're a
knows.
McKeester. You can't escape the allegations. You're a McKeester.
I'll be the conductor of the train, brother. I love Tanner
All right,
McKee.
guilty
Do I
as
think he's
charged.
Jalen Hurts? Do I think he's Jalen? I've got to pump the brakes on that.
Yeah, I agree.
You want to win a Super Bowl? You want to go to Detroit? Your best shot is having Jalen Hurts back.
Definitely.
You want to beat
All
Kansas City? That's your best shot. Everyone's got to pump the brakes on that. I get it. It looks pretty with Tanner McKee and Kenny Pickett throwing the football, but there's a reason Jalen Hurts is paid $50 million. There's a reason defensive coordinators have, a lot of trouble stopping this guy. We got to call a spade here. I know he didn't look great throwing the ball this year, but you know what? Maybe that's just him not trying to turn the ball over and force the issue. So maybe in the playoffs it's a little bit different. We'll see.
Tanner McKee is $49.5 million cheaper.
Yeah. Hey, man,
I don't think the drop off's that big, but that's what it is financially.
Yeah, listen, I get it though. I get it, man. But listen, do you want a really good passing game, or do you want to win football games and ultimately win the big one?
Yep, I agree with that. For sure.
That's the question you got to ask yourself. Jalen Hurts gives us the best opportunity to do that. So,
what do you think of the defense, dude? 9 turnovers in 2 weeks is pretty impressive. I don't give a shit how many points they gave up last week. 9 turnovers in 2 games is insane. What do you think of the defense right now?
I thought the defense played the same way they did last week, except the offense was able to convert third downs and actually move the ball.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Again, it's a team sport. You can have the same performance week to week. You can throw 5 touchdowns in a game and lose because your defense stinks. Okay? So, the offense last week didn't show up on third down, gave Jaden Daniels more opportunities to throw touchdowns, right? So, it's a team game. The biggest question for me now is not even the defense, not the offense. It's whether we do the rest versus rust conversation. That's the biggest question mark going forward. Do you
Which
play
I think is
Jalen?
fair, by the way. 3 weeks is a lot.
That's a long time. That's a long ass time.
One week, even 2 weeks, I feel okay about. 3 weeks.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a long time. And especially
listen, just for context, and I know this isn't the same.
Yeah.
I didn't do shows for 2 days, Christmas and the day after Christmas. I came on Friday. I'm like, holy shit, I fucking feel rusty, man.
Yeah, man.
I mean, that's just life. You don't do something for a little bit, you feel a little more rusty.
Absolutely, dude. And especially because, like you said, everyone knows he's not the most polished passer, Jalen Hurts. So 3 weeks off without timing, without getting live game action, it's a whole different ball game here. And now in the playoffs, you want him to come off 3 weeks of rest and try to win a playoff game. Not an easy thing to do.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
I think we should just at least play a half against the Giants, play the first half, get some reps, and then rest them if you really want to play that game. But, it's going to be a really interesting week for the Eagles this week because they can't do anything to change their status right now. They're they're in the tool hole. That's where they are.
And
the Giants are
Minnesota's
going to play
win,
spoiler.
by the way. The Packers are getting destroyed 27-10. The
Yeah,
Packers don't look very good.
No,
I
they
got the iPad. This is me multitasking. I got the iPad over here.
I'm pulling it on my phone half the time. They don't beat anybody in the NFC that's got a better record than them.
Well, that's the
Packers
thing.
are
They're
probably-
11-4 and their 4 losses. They lost twice to the Lions? No,
They lost to the Lions. They lost to Philly, and they're going to lose twice to the Vikings.
Yeah.
Right? So, Like every one of their wins, I think, was against a team that's either below 500 or is at 500 or something like that. So that's what a young team is, though, right? That's why, as nuclear as the Packers can be on offense, that's what youth looks like right there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So I'm not worried about Green Bay. I'm not worried about really anybody in the NFC other than Detroit and Tampa Bay. Those are the two teams. If I'm Philadelphia, I'm going to be like, okay, like that is the game I got to really, really lock in for, because, everyone else I feel like we can beat outright just with talent and just the way we've been playing all year. So that would be my trepidation going into the next couple of weeks. Rust versus rust, and who we get in the 7-hole.
Yep, I agree with that.
Yeah,
all right, brother. Good stuff, man. I'll talk to you again next week. Thanks for joining today.
Take care, guys. One love.
All right, good stuff, man, from Riding the Bench. Appreciate him joining. I just saw a stat on screen. Now, somebody can correct me in the chat. 400 plus yards for the Minnesota Vikings to 100 plus for the Packers. What the hell is going on in Green Bay? Holy shit. They're not looking too hot right now. Let's get to Abe, my main man. Abe, you ready, brother? Here he is. There he is. Look at that stud with the Eagles hat on. Abe, how you feeling, brother? Oh, you're muted, man. Come on, man. What? You're muted, bro. I can't hear you. You can hear me? Let me see if I can adjust your mic. I probably can't. You there? How about now? I got you now.
You can hear me?
I got you now. Yep. What's going on, Abe? How you feeling, brother?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Birds crushed the Cowboys today. What'd you see out there, man?
I saw the fucking Cowboys get beat down. Beat down. I can't stand them. Man, I really can't stand them. If I could see one right now, a Cowgirls fan, I'll spit on them. Dead ass. No lie. They done pissed me off today. But I loved how
Why'd they piss you off? What's got you feel? I'm feeling a little anger in your voice today, Abe.
Man. So earlier today, I joined Mark's pod, after y'all finished up, the pregame show. And I was talking, just saying like how I'm going to see what the damn Dallas Cowboys going to do. So I joined his live stream during the game, and they was like doing terrible. Cooper Rush threw that pick and everything. All of a sudden, you see fucking Mark eating. And I just said, eat, Mark, eat. Just keep on eating.
That's what Mark does, man.
So I guess they pretty much they timed me out. They timed me out on 3 different accounts just because they was losing.
Holy shit. All right, are you a McKeister? Are you officially an A?
I like him. I like him a lot. Man, I
like him more than Pickett?
Hell yeah. Pickett could go. He could kick rocks, man. I can't stand his ass.
Babe, you mad at everybody today. What's going on over there?
The small hands ain't helping. The gloves, not helping either.
How about that
hit
one
right by Micah, right to the face, and he got a broken rib now. What a fucking pussy, man.
Oh,
just like Dallas Goddard.
Abe, you're in rare form today. What's gotten into you?
Probably the hat, man. I'm telling you, I was about to say the hat is the reason why we won. And I'm going to keep wearing this fucking hat every
You
time.
look good in that hat, bro. That's the hat you won on JAKIB. So for everybody who doesn't know, that's Abe won that hat. And you can see that hat might be the good luck charm. Clary boy, you're looking for a good luck charm. It's that hat on Abe. All right. All right, brother. Would you any other final thoughts on the game today?
So as I was looking at it, I was like, the Giants already suck. They could just allow us to get that 100 yards, beat the record. That'll be a part of history too. Like, why not?
I'm telling you right now, that's not that it might happen, but the Giants are not letting them get that. They're gonna be. I think Sileo is right. John Mara is in that locker room right now. Like, I will pay you all a bonus of $500,000 to $1 million each. You can stop this motherfucker from getting this record. All right.
They better pray then, because it ain't gonna happen.
All right.
I want Barkley
to appreciate
stay.
You, bro. Always great talking with you, and I'll talk to you again soon. All right, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Go Birds.
Go Birds, man. Good stuff from Abe. Holy shit, Abe. Abe was in rare form today. He was dishing out hate on everyone. I'm going to spit on the Cowboys fans. F them, F this, F Pickett. Holy shit. Abe, I love you, brother. Good stuff. Let's go to our last man. Last but not least, the great Anton. Let's see what he's got from us.
Hey, brother. Merry Christmas, by the way.
Merry Christmas, man. What do you think of the game today? We destroyed the Dallas Cowboys.
Look, I am very excited to see how this team is going to look like come playoff time. But I got to say, at the start of the game, like obviously had the CJ pick, but after that, like I was like really, really nervous because I just felt like, the way that the Washington game finished and just the way our offense looked, I'm like, man, are we even gonna pick up first downs here? Is this gonna be bad? Like, are we gonna need to beat the Giants next week? Like,
right.
But
It
yeah,
did
all of a
feel like
sudden,
that for a second early. It didn't last long, but it did feel like that to me too for a second.
yeah. So I think look, a lot of the whole Tanner McKee and Kenny Pickett talk, you have to kind of remember how we felt in the first quarter and a bit of this ball game. But look, it shows you. Look, it's so funny because I think about I was watching the game and seeing how it unfolded. And I'm like, I bet you Dan Sileo made a tweet about the passing game and how great it looks now. You know what I mean? I'm like, predictable Sills. Because, obviously, you're a media guy. Like,
You're a Jalenite, though. You're a Jalenite.
Guilty. But I'm also an Eagles fan. You know what I mean?
You'll sit here and tell me, though. Well, here's the thing. There's always a gray area because I'm not a Jalenite, but I'm also not a Jalen hater. 2,900 passing yards with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert in a top 3-0 line is insane.
Look, that's funny because I think if he played this week and next week, Jalen would have had his best career pass. He hasn't gone over 3,000 yet in his career.
Oh, he would get 800 yards in 2 weeks for the first time all year. That's pie in the sky, dog. What the hell?
As in it would have been his career high in passing for the year. Like if he had not gotten hurt.
No, he got like 3,900. I thought 1 year.
No, I don't think he's ever gone beyond 3,000 in his Super Bowl. The Super Bowl year, he got.
Let me look.
He got hurt. He got hurt against the Bears, and he didn't get over 3,000.
3-23 last year. He had 38.58 in the air.
Oh, okay, my bad. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
37.01 and 22. So I don't think he would have gotten close to either of those.
Look, I think it's just the way the offense is run. And look, I've never said that. By the way, I've never said that
we got how many wins?
Joe Burrow or Josh Allen or or Patrick Mahomes. I've never said that. They always kind of put things into perspective here. But I think that the fact that we're having conversations every week about him is a bit silly. Like, look, you saw the Eagles weren't even confident. It took us. It's funny, the struggles to get Kenny Pickett into the end zone on the Philly shove was a bit comical. It was actually kind of funny, but I liked it in the end. But you kind of see, like, he doesn't have the confidence to run on fourth down, go for it on fourth down without Jalen. I think it's a big part of our offense, and I don't think we should go too far. But at the same time, look, I've always been a big fan of Tanner McKee. I was happy to see him when Kenny came out of the game. I'm like, we'll be fine because I think Tanner will be all right, and he was good. 4 great passes, huh? But yeah, dude, I think this team is good. Look, at the moment, I got to be honest, I'm a bit interested to see if Minnesota gets the number 1 seed because I think that'll be a tougher place to go than Detroit. I think Minnesota is fully healthy, and I think that stadium is really hard to play in. It's very loud. Like you see the Packers struggling, on silent counts, and it would be hard to go.
And
to
Brian
go to Minnesota.
Brian Flores has Jordan Love in jail right now. He's got like 64 passing yards. He's not doing very good versus that Brian Flores defense.
Yeah, man. But look, I want to say this about the Saquon Barkley thing. I think he can get that before halftime next week. I think I tweeted that to you on X. I think he had 100 in the first quarter against Washington last week.
Right. That was, but most games, Anton, he hasn't. Most games, his yards have come in the second half. So, like, he doesn't get a lot of first halves. Where he has
maybe we rest him for the first half and he comes on in the second half. You know what I mean? When the defense is tired, I just think it's an opportunity you have to take. Like, you're looking at that list, he's still like 6 on the list all time in single season rushing. He's got a few people to pass to get to Eric Dickerson. He can do it all in one game, so why not do it? You know what I mean? Like, we'll remember. Like somebody said, I know who said in the media. I think it was on FS1. Like, who do you remember? Who won the Super Bowl the year that Eric Dickerson set the record? Like, no one remembers. I think it was the 49ers, but nobody actually remembers that. But of course, here in Philly, we're all about winning Super Bowls. So it sounds silly for me to say, but what I'm saying is that people will never forget this. And, it's something special that I think, you got to go for. It's never never going to get set if he doesn't happen now. Like, you're not going to get to over 2,000 ever again.
No,
this
you're
is
not.
it. Go for it.
Yeah,
but
no, you're 100%
dude,
right about that.
before I let you go, Happy New Year, because I won't see you until next year. So,
It's true.
Yeah.
Can't believe we only have 3 days left in the year. Is that what we have? 3 days?
It's ridiculous. I feel like I remember last year's New Year's like it was yesterday. It's nuts. Anyway.
Yeah. Time is flying. Thank you for joining, my man. I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging tight, being patient with me. And I'll talk to you again next week. All right, man?
Yeah. NFC East champs, brother.
Yes, sir. Good stuff. Thank you, man. Good stuff there from Hot Sport. Anton joining the show. Good stuff from everybody. That's going to do it for everybody on the show. I got a couple super chats I'll read. I'll kick it around with you guys for a couple more seconds, but that's everybody that wanted to join today. So each and every one of you, Anton, Akbar, Joe Witt, Bob Brown, Clary Voy, No Limit, everybody that joined, I appreciate the hell out of you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and being here. Mad D.O., look at this, $10. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. He says, Hurts makes both of those throws, Pickett to AJ, penalty, and McKee back shoulder, AJ, touchdown. Hurts made similar throws in Ravens, Steelers, Skins, would have made them against Dallas. Well, the only thing about the back shoulder one to AJ was he did step up in the pocket there, and Hurts doesn't love doing that, Dio. I'm not saying he couldn't have made the throw. He's made that throw many times, but that specific throw, I think Hurts probably would have been rolling to the right away from AJ Brown, unfortunately. But that probably would have been how it went. Bone the Bonehead. What up, Bonehead? He says, let Saquon get the record. I wanted to say that. Yeah, I'm starting to feel that. I will say this, though. If Saquon, for whatever reason, or if somebody gets hurt in that game in the first half, every one of us, including myself, is going to say, fuck, I wish we fucking rested everybody. So it's kind of a catch-22. I definitely get it, but we'll see. Keith says, shuffle up. Keith, what does that mean? Abe, thanks for joining, bro. You're the best, Abe. Abe, you were in a little rare form today, Abe. I don't know what's gotten into you. Maybe it's the gelato or whatever you said you were working with, or maybe it's some of that. Abe. Philly Don. I never forget you, Philly Don. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Akbar, great job today, bro. Thanks for joining. My man. What's going on in this game? Anything? Did the Packers score finally? Oh, sure. I see what you're saying, Keith. I'm doing the jersey giveaway on Tuesday again. I got a bunch of giveaways. I'm thinking we do the giveaway. I'm thinking we do Zander Christmas, which is no longer going to be called Zander Christmas. I'm thinking we do it right before the playoffs. What do you guys think? What do you think? I still got a bunch of jerseys to give away. I still got the jacket to give away. I still got a bunch of hats. I still got a bunch of sweatshirts. I mean, I got a bunch of shit. Senor, I do not know the JAKIB schedule this week. I don't know if I can do two weeks of days off. I don't like not working. I like to work. Unlike Anton, who's an Aussie. They don't work over there. I like to work. Senor. How about a signed Kengo? Just Mike. We're a long way from that, man. We're a long way from that. All right, I appreciate each and every one of you. I think it's safe to say that after today's show and after the great Brian Pumper, I might be a McKeister when it comes to him start being the 2 over Pickett. All right, I might be a McKeister, not over Hurts, but I might be a McKeister when it comes to being QB2. All right, I just might be. All right. All right. I just might be. We got 6 minutes left in this Vikings Packers game. You guys think Packers have a chance to come back in this shit? I don't think so. Although Jordan Love, he must have had a big catch. I said 64 yards. Then I looked down. He was over 100. I'm like, oh, he must have had a 40-yarder. Amber says, attaboys, Andrew, I work Christmas Eve and Christmas night. Amber, you're the kind of people that make the country go around, my friend. Good job by you. Man. Well done. Brandon, what's up, Brandon? There he is. Brandon Howard, one of the great people of JAKIB Nation. Packers got time, Flex, definitely. 6 minutes left in this game. We'll see what ends up happening in this game. I'll recap one more time for everybody, all right? Anytime you beat the Dallas Cowboys 41-7, anytime you sweep the Dallas Cowboys 75-13, outscore them in 2 games, you feel pretty good, all right? So on this day, on December 29th, I don't have to worry about the playoffs. I don't have to worry about Jalen Hurts. I don't have to worry about any McKeisters. I don't have to worry about Brian Pumper. I can just enjoy that we swept the Dallas Cowboys. All right. That's where I'm at. That's how I'm feeling. Good stuff today, though. Good stuff today. Tanner McKee, 3 of 4. And by the way, you guys know the one incompletion for Tanner McKee was that insane one-handed catch. How about that catch? The ball just hits A.J. Brown's hand. Just go, boom. Didn't move. Stuck it like glue. Great stuff from A.J. Brown. So, great show today. I appreciate all of you guys for being here, man. You guys are the greatest greatest watchers, greatest viewers, greatest supporters, greatest friends I could ever ask for. I missed you guys over Christmas. I really did. I'm sitting there with my whole family, and I'm like, why do I miss JAKIB Nation? Why do I miss Sue and Brandon and Flex and Twiz and Abe and Joe and Akbar? I missed everybody. All my cousins. Brandon, all my cousins were over. So we at Christmas at the Krause houses, we do my immediate family on Christmas Day, and then my cousins all come over the day after. So, Brandon, they came over. I didn't feel the support from them like I do from all y'all. I didn't feel it, Akbar. Chaos is addictive, Twiz. Twiz, that might be the reason that JAKIB is alive, my man. Brandon, we were joking about New Year's Eve. Me and my pop was joking. I was talking to my pops on the phone, joking about New Year's Eve. And normally we go to my aunt's house, and they're not having it this year. My dad's like, tell JAKIB Nation the Krause compound is open. And I'm like, holy shit. That would be great. How funny would that be? A JAKIB New Year's party. I don't know. Based on the way some of you guys join this show, you guys are faded into oblivion. Some of you guys, I don't know, man. I don't know. Abe showing up. He's bringing his gelato or whatever he's calling it. Anton flying in from Australia. Akbar driving over from the Poconos. Holy shit. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Bruce Banner says, I'll start acting a fool. Good stuff. Terry Hayes, there he is. What's up, Terry? Appreciate you, brother. Thanks, everybody, for all the support. Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for all the subscribes, the comments, everything you guys do, man. I appreciate each and every one of you. Really, from the bottom of my heart, I mean it. I mean it, man. You guys make this all happen. This channel, everything is nothing without you guys. So thanks so much. That's going to do it for the show today. I appreciate all of you guys. Hit that like button on your way out, and I'll catch you next time, tomorrow morning on Birds 365. Thanks, everybody.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, we got this.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES. Eagles.